Now you're unmuted and can speak, the offspring.
Oh, finally, I'm unsilenced. You know, I've been silenced for so long. I've been silenced for all my... Okay.
You say hi to everybody.
Yeah, it's nice to see everybody here. Oh no, Mod Squad!
Mod Squad. Uh-oh. I hope you feel
better. Yeah, I said it before you. No, but I'm so sorry. It seems like everybody's getting sick now. Like,
yeah,
some people are getting COVID again. Like one of my like songwriter friends.
You're supposed to say C word.
Oh, C word.
It's too late now. You already said it.
Yeah, it's too late now. We're gonna get demonetized now. How are we gonna make?
We're gonna get demonetized anyway because of the MJ songs.
Well, true. We still get at least a cut though.
Yeah.
So, actually, that's pretty good.
My camera's terrible because of all the lights and the.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Your camera looks straight out of like a '90s music video. Looks very fishbowl.
I didn't buy them. Blame Crafton, not me.
Yeah.
And I'm sweating like a pig because it's hot in here. Like right now we're in impossible to climate controlville.
Yeah.
Where it's like if
also blame Crafton.
Blame Crafton. If you turn the air conditioner on to low, it's like freezing. And so then you turn it up, a degree or two, and then it's like you're sweating. So
yeah,
it's hot down here today.
Yeah. So as the title says, I'm heading off to be an RA for the summer. Last year, I think you guys remember, I went to a summer camp for the Educational Opportunity Fund. I was going there as one of the new students, new recruits, basically. But now I'm going to be one of the RAs. I'm going to be essentially, I'm going to become one of the, I guess, teachers, so to speak.
Well, you're like the mentor to the people that are coming in.
Yeah, that's better. I went from the mentee to the mentor.
Yeah.
I hope I'm able to...
You're giving back.
Yeah, I'm giving back. I'm giving back. I'll never forget the wise words that my mentors told me. I can tell by the look on your face that I shouldn't say it.
No, I don't know what you're going to say. What are you going to say? Just say it.
You know what? I'm not going to say the wise words of Sekou. All right?
I don't know what he's talking about, you guys.
Sorry, I forgot that it's an inside joke that I haven't let Mom in on. So anyway, this might be like the last time you see me on camera for a bit.
Mom might never let me back up. I'm going to see if it helps to have. We're so prepped today, you guys, don't you know?
Oh, yeah, no. We've done a great job pulling this together without Crafton. You know what? You know why we're struggling?
We kind of have, but... Yeah. Well, we're dealing with Craft. We're having to, rig up Crafton setting.
Ooh!
Well, I hope not. I hope that that's not what it is. Hopefully it's not feeling that way. If you're still here, Dennis, get a hold of me offline, okay? Or I'll reach out to you when I'm done. A doctor, but he loved being an RA so much that he switched to education.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully I enjoy being an RA, because a lot of being an RA is having to deal with kids, you know?
But they're your age. I mean it's not like they're
around our age.
They're around your age. They're your age, Aidan.
I don't know. I mean, I'm nearly 20. Some of them are just going to be, barely 18.
The 2 years makes so much of the difference.
I mean, mainly because of the contagion that we must not talk about.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people socially kind of...
fell by the wayside?
Yeah, they fell by the wayside.
Yeah.
The witty mood. Okay. The witty mood. Oh, yeah. It takes a while for the witty mood of mine to come out, Tracy. In fact, that witty mood is how I have a girlfriend in the first place. 2 days ago, she was like, "Hey, let's go into GroupMe and see our old messages and see how this even happened in the first place."
That's sweet, though.
And a lot of it just boils down to the fact that I had some pretty decent jokes.
Because you're funny can save a lot.
Look at
funny
can save a lot. No, yeah. I was in the friend zone. She had a boyfriend.
When you met her?
Yeah. No, here's the thing though. I wasn't a homewrecker.
Wait. I think you guys met. Didn't you guys meet each other in this program last summer?
Yeah, we met each other.
Yeah, in the
fact,
summer thing.
Two of the RAs this year are actually a couple.
Aww.
Yeah.
Love it, Monmouth U. Is it TJ that was in that picture? It was TJ. Well, Taj is the one who did the interview, but it was Ty, right? Who was in the actual picture?
Yeah, I believe so. So for those of you who don't know what we're going to be talking about today, so about 2 weeks ago was the anniversary, the 18th anniversary of Michael Jackson being found innocent in the 2005 trial. And I thought now would be a good time to, talk about it, get our thoughts out on this. I mean, we're true crime, and this...
Well, and I was covering the Danny Masterson case with Scientology. And and Tom Mesereau just got censured for some of his behavior in the first trial that led to a mistrial.
Oh.
So it's interesting because he did an amazing job.
Oh, he did a great job at Jackson's defense.
He was like the pitch hitter in that one because he started with a lawyer that I would consider shitty.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. You're right, Sabrina. I did pull the robbery.
Pulled the robbery. Yes, you did.
Well, I mean, I will say though, like, she told me she had a boyfriend, and as soon as that happened, like, my response,
you're respectful.
Yeah, my response to that was just sort of going like texting back like Lamau.
Shit, I can't find this picture, Aidan. I'm trying to find the one that they show. So I have the one that was like the cover, but I was like, there's the one of the two of them together. Y is the single.
Yeah. Why is this? Just look up like Y photo shoot, and you'll find it. Shoot. Yeah. So anyway, we figured it'd be a good time to talk about it because it is a very polarizing thing. People have their different views on it, but not a lot of people are willing to fully research it. A lot of what goes around is basically just news outlet says one thing, barely backs it up. Another news outlet says another thing, barely backs it up. Just like the olden days. Just like the old days. So we thought it'd be a fun idea. Well, maybe not always fun, but...
Well, no, it'll be an interesting talk. Well, and it's one that you know a lot about.
Yeah,
I've already prepped everyone that I'm preparing to get schooled here. But,
yeah, I mean, I agree, that Michael was misunderstood, and especially in like this general area. This is something.
Really, you guys, I'm just like, let's do this and piss off Lynn. That's what my thought was actually. She was like worked at the craft table on Leaving Neverland, so she has.
Let's not even talk about like.
Well, I have in my notes some Safe Chuck and Robson.
Yeah.
They're mentioned once in my notes.
Yeah. They're
but that's because they changed their story.
Yeah, they were very inconsistent. So you know what? I'm gonna just like quickly just talk about where we're getting our information from. So when it comes to information on,
well, you've read the Aphrodite book and things like that. Yeah. So this is more your inspiration for wanting to talk about this.
Yeah, and then there's a documentary that came out 3 years ago called Square One, which is basically going over the first allegation in '93.
I'll link it, you guys. I don't think I have not done that yet, but I'll put that in. I'll put the link for that in my description. Yeah,
it's a great documentary. It sheds a lot of light on that era of allegations, essentially. And here's the thing. Everyone after the civil case basically signed an NDA, so it's hard to get firsthand knowledge, so you kind of got to go roundabout ways.
Yes.
You can't talk to the lawyer about it because, confidentiality. So you've got to find roundabout ways.
Well, and until his death, that lawyer seemed to have made his living off of this.
Yeah.
I was surprised to find out that he was Arvizo's lawyer, too. I can't find the one I'm looking for. It must just be like... a little hidden treasure. I got the generic one.
Yeah,
that's more the general photo shoot.
Yeah, Sabrina, the documentary dudes, they were very, very shady. When you take a look at the timeline of the actual, sorry, I'm gonna move closer to the mic because I'm noticing the levels on here are a little off. When it comes to the actual timelines of them giving their stories, not only are their stories inconsistent, but like with Wade Robson, he would always talk about Michael Jackson, talk about him highly. In fact, he worked on a Michael Jackson tribute show that was literally commissioned by the estate.
And, but when he didn't get his preferred job,
and then he left, tried to come back. When they refused him his job, that's when the allegations came out.
And there's evidence of him threatening them with that too, and it seemed like that was a bargaining chip.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing about all these allegations, though, is that all of them kind of stem from what happened in '93.
Yes. And in his 2005, they actually opened it up to prior bad acts.
Yeah,
and
they tried to drag everyone from there back in, but they couldn't.
They couldn't because of the agreements. But there's also, as it turns out, evidence that Jordy did subtle things that left people feeling like he was being untruthful, and sort of there's little nuggets. There's little nuggets of recanting sort of situations going on, which is interesting.
Let's talk about like Jordy and his story, because really, when we're talking about the allegations, it's something where we really are talking a lot more about his father, Evan Chandler. So to sort of paint the picture here, right? There's the Chandler family. There's Evan Chandler, who's the father, June Chandler, the mother. They have Jordan, but what happens is that the two get divorced. The father kind of, for lack of a better word, just kind of fucks off. Is very distant.
Well, and he has a whole new family.
Yeah, has a whole new family. Doesn't pay for child support.
17 G's behind in child support. This guy wants to be
it was 70.
Was it 70 or 17?
It was about 70.
Oh, I heard 17. So 70 is even worse.
Yeah.
So he is a dentist, but he's not a very good one. He's like dentist to the stars. He's been sued. He's been censured. But he wants to be a screenwriter.
Yeah, he wants to be a screenwriter.
Make the movies. He had one big claim to fame,
which was Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Men in Tights. Who
Jordan came up with the idea.
Yes, I wrote that down. He sold it to Mel Brooks, if it's true, as his 13-year-old's idea. And so that could have been some of the whimsy that caused someone like Mel Brooks to be like, oh, that's great. Oh, wow, that's really novel for a 13-year,
Yeah. I mean, I've seen that movie. It's a good movie.
It's been a long time, but I'm like, it's cheeky.
I mean, it's pretty cheeky, but... So what winds up happening, though, is that Evan is off doing his whole, like, dentist thing. There's a ton of...
dentist thing.
Yeah, there's some high-profile clients that come in because, they're in California.
Yes.
But
that's not even how they meet, though.
Yeah, no, it's not how they meet Michael Jackson. Actually, what happens is that...
Mom is remarried as well.
Yeah, Mom is remarried as well. Her new boyfriend...
Husband.
Oh, yeah, husband. Oh, yeah, because they were married. Her husband... works at like a car.
He owns. I wrote it down. He owns this like tow company.
Yeah, owns a tow company. So what happens is Michael Jackson's car breaks down. He hears, "Oh my God, it's Michael Jackson that we're picking up." My son.
Yeah, my stepson.
Yeah, my stepson loves Michael Jackson. So they essentially like create. They bring Jordy along.
Well, I see. What shocked me though is actually they didn't. He had conversations with June and whatever the stepdad's name was, and they had actually gone over to have dinner with Michael Jackson and things like that. And so there was this period of time that it was a little while before Jordy even came into the picture. And suddenly Dad wants back in his life as soon as he hears that the family, now including Jordy, is friends with Michael Jackson.
Also, thank you, Mod Squad, for sending PayPal.
Thank you. Yes,
really
everything that comes in, as Aidan's aware, is being split with Aidan today. So he's...
Yeah, I'm making a lot out of
He's going to keep me accountable. Thank you very much to Mod Squad. Yeah. Hold on. We have a bell you can ring.
Oh, yeah. We got a bell. Double bell, because we're very thankful. It's one from both of us.
So he wants back in all of a sudden.
Yeah, as soon as he learns about Michael, he's like, "Oh, let me in." He tries to get He tries to basically get money out of Michael.
But you know what's interesting? So he didn't actually meet Jordy until May of 93. And all this started shaking out in August of 93.
Yeah, no, it was a very sort of quick. It was very quick. It was more something where the parents just wanted Jordy to hang out with Michael. You know, it was
right. They're trying to facilitate, because he's such a huge fan and all that. So it's like, but I'm like, by the time the like allegations and visiting the lawyer, that was only in August.
Yeah, it was very quick.
And the first time Michael met him was in May.
Yeah, so like,
just that quick. Dad wants back in, and he's really more the orchestrator because June, the mom, was not on board. Not Jordy. Denying it.
Jordy denied it. So Michael hired like a PI basically because.
Well, here, let me kind of tell it a little bit. Okay?
Yeah, I'll let you.
So the June and her husband were sus because almost right. So by June of 93. When Evan catches wind that like the family's like rolling with MJ.
Yeah, they're about to go on tour with them.
Yes, and he'd invited them to come on tour, all these other things. Evan's not really having that. He's not doing well with his dentistry. He's trying to work on this big, he has this big idea. He wants to go into producing, which costs the dinero, right? He hasn't had much of a relationship with Jordy, and all of a sudden...
He's like requesting to have custody.
Yeah, he takes this and wants custody.
And he initially says like, "Oh, I want him for a week." He doesn't give him.
Well, and June said okay, right?
Yeah, she said okay to the.
But by then they find him a little sus, and so the family records Evan in a phone call in July where he's more or less laying out.
Yeah, he's laying out his plan. He's basically saying like, "Don't if you guys don't give me what I want, I'm gonna burn Michael to the ground."
Right.
Sell a record again.
He's like taking advantage of the fact that this family is like, listen, I don't know what you're trying to do, but this is ridiculous. And he's telling him, he's like, listen, just so you know, I mean, I'm going to fuck this guy up. And I already have a lawyer ready to go. And we're going to, so they're still not having it. But in the end, they agree to a week. He can have him for a week.
And then he just doesn't give him back. And during that week, what they're doing, Geraldine Hughes was the legal secretary for the lawyer they hired, Barry Rothman.
Barry Rothman's important. So we know sometime before all this, at some point, right? Oh, my kid's hanging out with Michael Jackson. He actually starts consulting lawyers because in July he said he'd tried out a few and he got Barry Rothman.
He got like the nastiest one he could find.
Yes.
Like literally calling him like he's devious. He will do whatever.
Yes.
And this man, Rothman, he's an entertainment lawyer,
But he specializes in settlements.
Yeah, that's what he mainly specializes. He specializes in money.
Yes.
And so what happens during that week and onward when Jordy is in the custody of Evan, I mean, first off, what Evan does is he borrows what is the name of the actual thing? Sodium emetol?
So he's a dentist. He claims, so Evan's claim is that until this point, now Jordy's given statements to MJ's investigator, all these different things.
And Jordy's already told the investigator that he thinks his father's just trying to get some money.
He says, like, my dad's trying to get money.
That is the last thing he said to the PI.
And that is still the position of June and her husband too. And so there's all these meetings going on. The legal secretary came forward and said she witnessed kind of like coaching situation because as soon as he got Jordy for that week, he takes him right to the lawyer
and gives him outdated truth serum.
Yes. So sodium amethol, which had for a while in society thought it was a truth serum, but there were reports that came out after this that it was
right in 1993.
Yes, that it was actually not so much a truth serum as it opened people up to suggestibility.
Yeah, it was basically like a hypnotism drug.
Yes, that's how I thought of it too.
You could plant ideas into someone's head, and you could basically give them false memories, or just convince them to go along with you for whatever.
Well, and he claimed it was for a dental procedure, and that's just not a thing.
But it's not.
That's not a thing.
Yeah, it's not a thing. It's not a thing.
Yeah.
So essentially, you have something where this kid has a strong stance of like Michael's innocent, and then he's given this suggestible drug, and is coached for about a month into saying like, "Hey, Michael did this."
Yes. So they still wait, and then August 4th, when they finally have him saying just enough, Barry doesn't go to the police, and this dude's dad hasn't gone to the police.
They go straight to Michael.
They go straight to Michael and his team to demand
like, $20 million.
$20 million.
Give us $20 million.
And so the conversation that takes place is about, well, what the, I don't think so. But he's like, listen, I want, and he says, I want to produce a movie. Like this is for that, and I'm not going to stop. So they're doing the hard hitting, but it comes out that this is what it's for. So they counter him with, how about this? If you do 3 pictures, Michael will invest $350 into each one because you're Jordy's dad. Like, he'll invest. You don't
spend time with each other. You can mend the relationship.
You don't have to go about it this way. But now on the 20 million, it's not going to happen. So he says no, and he just can't believe it. And so he's like, no, this is about the fact that I'll turn your ass in, blah, blah, blah.
Michael's, and you want to know what Michael did after that? He was like, okay, just take $350,000. He lowers it even more.
And that's the hard line. He's there. So then they're like, fine, you know what? We'll give you the $350,000 as a investment into what you're trying to do, but that's it. And if you're going to do whatever else you're going to do, go ahead.
Yeah, and so these sort of negotiations it's not really negotiations. It was just.
But that's also the point, though, where June has to go back to court.
Yeah, because,
by then it's been a month.
Yeah, it's been so long that the court basically orders him, hey, give your son back.
Well, she files an ex parte to say, listen, it's been a month. We agreed to 1 week of a visitation. Now he's gone. There's this weird shit. Something's going on. Something weird's happening. So the judge says, okay. Yeah, like 1 week it was the agreement. You need to give him back. Keeping in mind he wasn't even seeing his kid before then.
Yeah.
Still doesn't give him back. But within 3 days, he takes Jordy to a psychiatrist, knowing that it's a mandatory reporter, to give this account, which of course triggers the mandatory reporter to report it to the police. And now it's a thing. So he's followed through. Now he's followed through on the threats.
Now it's public. And when this comes out, essentially like 3 cases span from this. There is the obvious criminal case that's going to happen. They did a civil case, and then Michael basically countersued, saying that the whole thing was an extortion scheme.
He sued Barry. He sued the original lawyer for extortion.
Yeah, and so then that lawyer dropped out, but then replaced himself with a lawyer that he had control over.
He did not do that first, you guys, okay? Gloria Allred takes it. And listen, I love Gloria for a lot of reasons, but she's represented the likes of Amber Fry. This is another one of those ones where I'm like, okay, so she tends to take high-profile cases that, skew towards the victims, and it's not always a matter of facts that cause her to do that. Okay, I'll leave it there. So Gloria Allred had a stint in there. She does a major press conference. By then, you guys, it's important to note too, as soon as these hit, media blows up. Yeah. And it's selling papers. It's tabloid brokers were literally put on to just find anybody who's willing to even cast a shot, anything that'll get Michael Jackson in the headlines that night.
And they were willing to dish out like absurd amount of
money. I kept track of it. So people that were just willing to make an innuendo were being paid $10,000 to $50,000 per interview. And this was a worldwide market. So if you were just willing to say, yeah, he was a little shady, I guess, then you stood to make around $200,000 is the estimate that anybody in this little 2-month chunk of frenzy time could make, just to say, yeah, I went to Neverland once, and I mean, he made me feel kind of uncomfortable, and that would be enough.
Yeah. So and anybody saying like, explicitly like, hey, Michael did something, they'd pay him like $200K.
Yes. Yeah, it was crazy.
I mean, that's enough to like, I mean, honestly, that's just an absurd amount of money to think of.
Money will do a lot, Yeah. So this was going on, and then LaToya came out.
Yeah, LaToya came out. And at this time, she was
still married
to a member of the mafia.
She was still married to Jack Gordon, who was her manager, and also a member of the Genovese family. So it's like, there's a lot out there. We don't need to go. That's a whole other show.
That's a whole other
But long story short, she got caught with, with the thing in her ear. He would feed her the information. The Jackson family's talked about this. She's not with him anymore. She's back with her family. She's talked about, I think she wrote a book about this. So it's like, it's out there that was lying and that was something, but he saw the money opportunity and pushed her out.
Yeah.
So there was a lot going on. But also what happened is that June suddenly became on board.
Yeah, June became on board.
In the money frenzy that was happening.
Yeah, it was absurd.
June's like, fine, so they kind of give it up. And the reason I wanted to make sure to say that before we went on with it is because there were a lot of people, including his own sister, who came out and cast these little aspersions.
But it was all just for...
But as a mother, something like that could start to alter my perception too. So there's the money part of it, but then there's also the like, I don't know. And it depends on how vehemently Jordy was sticking to a story at that point.
Yeah. And here's the thing. At this point, one precedent that we have in our legal system right now is that a criminal case should always come before a civil case.
In California at the time, that didn't exist.
Yeah, in California at the time, that didn't exist. So what happened was that as the criminal proceedings were going through, multiple organizations were trying to find more evidence to corroborate.
They set MJ's deposition for January of '94, and so.
And this was for the civil case and not the criminal one.
Yes, because what happened is that so the criminal case was getting nowhere.
Yeah, it was getting nowhere.
There's no evidence.
Nothing.
So you guys remember...
Can I talk about...
Yeah, go ahead. I'm not going to pull the video, but I'm going to find a picture of the video. Everybody knows that infamous tape that MJ put out.
Yeah, the one he put out talking about how there was a warrant for them to take pictures of him. So one thing that wound up happening was Jordan wound up saying hey, Michael Jackson, the man's circumcised. And then the pictures are very clearly oh no, the man's got a turtleneck.
In the time that the family was all friends, those couple months, he did go to Evan, MJ did, and he was given a shot in his rear.
Yeah, so...
Evan had seen his buttocks and was and he had...
And he saw the vitiligo and he was like, oh, that's a gold mine.
Yes.
If we say that,
Well, the DA got caught on the record saying, no, we're using this penis thing because here's the deal. If it matches, then great. If it doesn't match, well then
vitiligo.
Yeah, vitiligo changes on a daily basis, so we can't lose. Except for they got the circumcised versus uncircumcised wrong. So this kid had not seen his penis. That's what never got released out there. Is it's in the end, they did all of this, and it's no, the vitiligo is what it is, but he said he was circumcised, and apparently MJ wasn't circumcised.
No, he wasn't.
It would be TMI if it wasn't relevant, Yeah.
So even then, the story is inconsistent and it doesn't actually reflect reality. But the problem is, when it comes to a civil case coming before a criminal case, the problem is that you're basically giving away your defense. All of your main arguments, the prosecution now knows that and can change their actual story for the criminal case.
So, for instance, in Danny Masterson's case, they had a civil suit that was put on hold for 2 years because they yielded to the criminal case, because you cannot, listen, under the Constitution, you can't force somebody to testify against themselves or to incriminate themselves. But because this wasn't a thing in '93 in California, there were two options. He either give the deposition, or knowing that the criminal case is outstanding, or he refuses to show up, which will default, and at that point, you should amend your shit. If you know the person isn't going to show up for deposition, you should just amend it to $100 billion or whatever, because they're going to
make the initial $20 million.
Yeah, because they're going to default, right? So he either has to do this and risk himself on the criminal case or default. And so this is all to say, and he brought Johnny Cochran on by this time as well.
Yeah.
And so he had a decision. He either goes and knows that he's going to be helping to somehow formulate, he's really kind of putting himself in a position in terms of the criminal investigation.
He's either screwed on the criminal side of things because he gave away his defense,
because he's feeling like they're plotting against him. And I think that as time went on and another instance happened and some things that came up in between, I think there's no question that there were some people that were in charge that really were just not loving Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And had their own thoughts about what was going on. And so, was he targeted? Yes, this opened the door for that. So, but it's like you're either going to get defaulted on millions upon, this huge chunk of money in your own civil case, which is a bad look, or you go and do the deposition and be subject to all the, because I actually think it was more the press. So I think the documentary maker, they were pointing out that this was looked at after the fact, and it's like California got their ass in gear. From this came the change that you cannot force. You have to hold a civil case where you're wanting a deposition if the person's a defendant in a criminal case of the same whatever. But that wasn't the case then. So Johnny Cochran, who'd come on board, the Michael Jackson's insurance had said that they would not participate in this. Essentially, Johnny Cochran worked a deal where they were willing to, and they settled the morning of that he's supposed to be deposed.
And then after that, literally nothing happened.
Well, they had no evidence. I think it's important to say too. They had the Jordy stuff did not work. The FBI had been involved.
And from that point on, they were just raiding him like on and off for the next like decade.
Yes, over 10 years. And so they had 20 computers. They'd had several raids. There had never, ever, it's a misconception that there had ever been any CP found. Ever.
Yeah, no, none found.
But there's one retired FBI guy that runs around saying there was.
But there's no proof of it anywhere.
No, he cites the T3 stuff. That's why I was looking so desperately for that picture. And I'm like, this is the stupidest thing ever. Because I was sitting there today listening to this. And I'm like, wait, I remember hearing that there had been something. And when I was like, when I saw what it was, I'm like, stop it. So his nephews had a band called T3.
The band still exists. Don't say that.
Do they?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think they're still a thing.
I don't know.
They're probably like on and off, but.
So he was doing, what video was he filming?
It was he was filming Stranger in Moscow. His nephews came over and they're like, hey, let's do the Y photo shoot.
Yeah. So let me show you. So this was like 3-member boy band at the time, but they were kind of known as like squeaky clean image. So they're trying to go for something else. And so this is the kind of final look. This is what, this is the kind of vibe that they were going for here, right? And then here's how the photo shoot turned out. Now, MJ, you're going to see, was fully clothed in his, white T-shirt that we've all seen a million times. Let's see, MJ.
And you'll notice that, like, Taj in it just straight up also just fully has his shirt on.
Yes, so these are like,
they're trying to be edgy, but they only went as far as they were ever like comfortable.
So this was the same shoot, you guys. So this is kind of the look they were going for. And then I have the finished product. But essentially what they're saying is that here's Michael with these barely clothed boys, right? That's not barely clothed, by the way. And there's a whole crew around them. I mean, it's a fucking photo shoot for a fucking album. And this is supposed, and it's his own nephews. But this is it, you guys. This is supposed to be the whole thing. If you remember hearing that, they found some CP on one of the computers, this is what it was proofs that had been sent to him to go through from this photo shoot.
Yeah. And, Tracy's right. After his hair was set on fire, he's never. That's how I got introduced to painkillers, and then
the pain from it. Yeah. But so you see that it was like that was kind of a little play on the words, but again, it's a business. It's like.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, like.
So there was never ever any evidence. That's the point I was trying to make. Nothing. But there are things that the public got stuck in their mind from all this time. That people are coming out and just saying the most without saying much. And then so you can say what you want, you're going to get your 10 to 50 grand, 200 if you're willing to say he unbuttoned your pants or something, and then even much later, FBI guys, once they're like this one guy, once he's not on salary. He's like, I know how to fucking supplement my retirement right quick. And goes out to talk about how they did, in his opinion, find CP on his computer. And then he's describing it. And of course, the boys came out to be like, that's our fucking photo shoot. Like, there's like public images out there from that photo shoot. This is what they're talking about.
Yeah, no, there's pretty much just, there's nothing. There's
nothing. And in 2005, they couldn't find much of anything either.
Yeah, and let's actually talk about like the actual accusers of the 2005 case, because that's something that people just straight up overlook. They overlook the fact that in the actual trial, it was largely brought up that they were a con family that like specifically targeted celebrities.
Yes, we can. Yes, because that's where my notes go to too. But I want to say two different things. The late 93 thing in 96, Jackson won his extortion case to the tune of $2.7 million, which is a lot when it's against some little scummy lawyer. So he wins that original extortion suit and gets $2.7 million. And then he also, where's my notes on it? Yeah, this whole NAMBLA angle was new to me, and I was like, holy shit. Yeah. But there was another thing that came up, too, because there was another little piece of it. Yeah. The grand jury didn't indict him. So on the criminal side, so after this, right, everything kind of goes silent on the criminal side, but they did have a grand jury, and the grand jury didn't indict.
Yeah, no.
There wasn't enough.
Nothing to build off of.
Yeah.
I think one thing to sort of talk about here is that Chad is talking about, like, Michael Jackson's hair and how he's never the same after that, you know. The thing about that is that introduced him to like painkillers. He was he was a Jehovah's Witness. You know, he didn't believe. He didn't believe in drugs. He didn't believe in like using any of that stuff. But the pain of that, fire was so bad that he was like, screw it, give me, painkillers anyways.
Oh, well, let me correct myself. No, he didn't win the extortion case. He won a defamation case.
Yeah,
he was forced to. So as part of the agreement, the settlement. He was forced to drop that extortion suit.
Yeah.
Which opened this attorney to the ability to be part of our Vizos team. Both the main attorneys ended up being part of the next one too.
Yeah. So, what was I on about? So basically, while this whole like 93 thing was going on, it wrecked Michael's mental state, so much that he just started like doing, painkillers to just numb the emotional pain. In fact, I think that's why like a couple like dates on the Dangerous tour got canceled, because he needed to, get clean.
Sorry, hold on. Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah, so essentially, like, this trial can technically be it didn't go to trial, but
it didn't go to trial. It didn't even make
allegations are like part of like reason.
It's what kickstarted it.
I mean, yeah, it's what kickstarted it.
So it's interesting though, the things that happened after it, because there's evidence that there were people involved in this one that suddenly started to make a cottage industry of it. There was a kid out in Toronto, so in Canada, that suddenly was trying to come forward. And they were shopping to media, right? Not going to police, but shopping to media. And they actually did get somebody, I think from a current affair, someone went out there. Anyway, it turns out, and this all came out by an FBI agent who was looking into something different, named Bob Hammer, who infiltrated NAMBLA.
Yeah.
Which is like, what's the word we want to use for this?
Like,
we'll call it Play-Doh. Okay, so pedo. Play-Doh. Okay, so they're like let's make Play-Doh.
Let's legalize
Play-Doh. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So this is a different FBI investment, but in it rose up this information that NAMBLA had really been like, they at the first thought that there was something going on, they were like, that'd be great if he was, because that would normalize us.
Yeah, no,
it's gross.
Yeah.
But in comes these NAMBLA losers who start to pop up everywhere there's a new thing. Right?
Yeah, and
go ahead. I don't want to mess you up. No, I can talk about NAMBLA after you're done with whatever you want to bring.
I mean, I will say one thing about that FBI agent though is not the one the one that insists that CP
was on it. Yeah.
The main thing about his argument is that he argued that Michael fit the mental description of one when Michael didn't.
Michael didn't. So FBI profilers and like world-renowned psychologists.
I mean, they more thought that Michael was sort of in this paradoxical thing of him trying to be a father to other children because he didn't have a healthy relationship growing up, but at the same time he also wanted to keep whatever remnants of his childhood he had left. So it was this weird thing of both trying to be a father figure to these children while also trying to be their peer. And it was, I mean, I'm not going to say that Michael's mental state was good in that regard because I don't think anybody I don't think anybody fully thinks that that's a healthy way to live. But I mean it's just the reality of the case. Like, one thing about a lot of stars is that oftentimes their mental state will not be good because of their upbringing. We see it time and time again with these like Disney stars who are forced into doing this.
Well, anything child star oriented,
Yeah, because usually there's like one person in the family that's like, hey, you're going to do this.
Right.
And that's what causes these, like with Macaulay Culkin, that was mostly his father, doing stuff behind the scenes.
Corey Feldman, and both of them really. And that's where Safechuck and Robson too came into play, because both in the 93 and in the 2005 investigations, they were right there to say no, because they were and especially 2005, where it became a case that they really the only evidence that they had to push forward.
Also, thank you, Mod Squad. This head does stay on, so I think it's a good head. Yeah,
I saw you cut your hair too. I saw your remnants in the bathroom.
Yeah,
getting spiffy.
Yeah, no, just I like having this side be like flat because it's very.
He's got a hat on, you guys, but he's got like a Prince thing that he's been doing lately, where it's like going to one side.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. I'm putting this back on.
Hat head. Yes.
I ran out of my like curly shampoo, so it's something where I can't really do anything with my hair right now.
I probably have shampoo. I have other shampoo that's
but I need specifically like curly shampoo, because you put like regular shampoo in there, it's gonna just damage your hair. I had to learn that from my girlfriend the hard way. So yeah. So what was I talking about? I mean, so like with child stars, and really just stars in general, it's something where, I mean, mentally there's always going to be something that's off with them, because it's just it's how you grow up.
It stunts their childhood in some ways. They're forced into adult situations.
Yeah, like for me, when I think about it, like one of the healthiest, like celebrities in terms of like actually like balancing their lives. Like I'm a big Bowie fan, right? The thing about him is that, I mean, we all know he was wilding about in the 70s, but you go over to the 90s and the man's just living a normal life, just like going to the studio 9 to 5, comes home to a mom, they like cook dinner together, and they do like normal couple shit, and it's something where like I feel like a lot of stars don't get the chance to have that kind of normalcy needed to keep them stable.
That's true.
That's
true. That's how in the music world, that's how I would meet them when I had it's all the people that got fucked up in the course of fame. And there's a lot of them,
Yeah, I mean, like, we love Scott Weiland over here, but we can all sort of agree that, like...
he had demons.
Yeah, he had...
I just talked to Doug yesterday.
Oh, really? Yeah. Wait, you guys still keep in touch?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, Doug never contacts me.
No, he does. He says stuff when you release music and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I remember I tried like talking to him about getting in touch with the like Weiland estate, because they're doing such a terrible job.
Yeah, but he knows they're doing a terrible job. He sold off a lot of his interests in their joint songwriting and stuff.
Oh, but he did?
He eBayed one of them. He eBayed.
Oh yeah, he eBayed Paralysis.
He eBayed his interest in Paralysis. I thought that was hilarious. But he got more than when he was selling it out in the music world. He got way more off of fucking eBaying it.
Yeah.
Isn't that sad? That's where the music industry's come to.
Yeah, it's what the industry's come to.
So just not to leave Evan yet. So when you fast forward to the upcoming release of History, he's married to Lisa Marie, and they go on Diane Sawyer.
Yeah, they go on Diane Sawyer.
And so Lisa Marie, by the way, her whole life spoke out on his behalf.
Oh yeah, no, she did that till like the day she died.
Yes, so she was always 100% that he absolutely never touched a kid. Yeah. All that. So anyway, there is some talk on there, and he's talking about his experiences and photos, but he let leak that the photos didn't match. So Evan can't help himself, and he just jumps at the chance. There's two things he's going for.
He's going for the history album itself.
$60 million he wants, saying that he just broke the terms of the settlement. But then he's like, but hey, also let me break the settlement. Because in the meantime, his brother has released a book. His brother, who had nothing to do with shit, okay? But somehow he has all the insider information, all the documents that only Evan had access to, you know. But there's also this Nambla dude who releases this book that was just crazy gross.
Yeah.
Oh, and it has a lot of...
I tried to block that out of my mind.
And it has a lot of the same information in it, and yet these books are separated by 7 years. So this was really the only tentative little link between the kind of story building in that 93 case.
Yeah. Mod Squad, you're at a point. Celebrities really should just have at least like one person to ground them. Like I think Lisa Marie even like grounded MJ for a bit.
Well, she understood. I mean, that's from her own childhood. Neither of them had much of a childhood.
Yeah, neither of them really had a normal childhood.
Yeah,
at least like with. Yeah. I mean, really, when you think about like Michael Jackson being grounded, he never was, but I think him having kids did like you hear from his kids, and he was a great dad to them.
Yes.
You know, it was
and they're all adults now. Paris, I think, is the most outspoken of them, but
yeah, I mean, she's releasing her own music right now.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like she's doing some experimental shit right now.
Yeah,
so I'm pretty interested in that.
So, by the way, the whole so he wanted the NDA release because he wanted to release a book called Evan's Story, not Jordy's story, Evan's story. So he's like, yeah, he breached the thing, so I should be allowed to breach them. Plus, I want $60 million for him. That drug on for 6 years and was eventually dismissed. So that's kind of the last word on Evan.
Yeah.
Until 2005, when they're reapproaching Jordy to testify, and all those kind of things. So if you want to move into that, and then this whole Nambla thing is too complicated. So maybe I'll either save that for another show. But let's just say there's been certain things that if I were to be like, well, point to the thing that you think makes him look the most guilty. Some people will say he had a couple staff members that wrote books. The maid that was like doing all the interviews. All of these, I'm just going to say these all tracked back to these Nambla fucks that it was Evan who pulled into the fold in the first place to try to this became like a money-making cottage industry little thing that they tried to pull off, only they got caught in 95 trying to do the Toronto Kid. Like, got caught. And Victor Gutierrez wrote this other book that was nasty, that was written amid all of the allegations and stuff, made a bunch of money. It's been linked at this point to Evan. But these guys stayed in this little orb. One of them
just trying to milk it for as much as they
can. Trying to find new people that they could push out. They got caught. One of them's in jail for SA on a child. The other one got caught trying to extort politicians in Chile because he's the one who lost the defamation suit for that book. And he filed bankruptcy and ran off to Chile, where he again got in trouble because he started doing it again to Chilean like politicians and government officials. So it's an interesting little thing, but that's a little bit more Crafton's alley. I think there's a little more tinfoil hat in that. But it's
a certain like character to the people that were like making these allegations. And honestly, it's just the fact that none of it is consistent. You know? And Wyoming Adventures, you're right. I mean, people really did just want to make money off them.
They did. Well, the 2005 one was a little different because it did go to trial.
Yeah, it did go to trial. And for that one, there were like 15 different counts. He was found innocent of all of them.
Every single one.
Every single one of them.
Now, that case, too, is when you found out that the FBI had been on and off of him for over 10 years.
And they got nothing.
and they got zilch. Not shit. They'd raided his place a bunch of times, never anything uncouth. They'd interviewed all kinds of people, nothing uncouth. They had interviewed all of these other people because they'd be like, did he do it to anyone else? Anybody that was mentioned denied it. There was just really nothing. I mean, they started with nothing, but they got a good ruling. And it was this, and it's like I already said, but just a reminder, when the Arvizos pulled this up, same lawyers. They beelined to the same lawyers, and pretty much stationed in the DA's office are all the same motherfuckers who were trying so hard to get something going.
And now they do got something going, and then they just fail.
Mm-hmm.
They just fail.
But there's all these little media leaks and things like that generally, and in the public, I think it was like, if there's smoke, there's fire. A lot of people feel that way too. Like, how many times can the same person be?
But sometimes if there's smoke, it's just fireworks.
That's a good one.
I'm gonna be real.
Wow.
I did. You know, they were right when they said I was witty. Oh my god! I'm
listen to him. He's so humble.
I'm
so humble too. Oh my god, Bender, me too. I would love that. So there's a guy. There's a channel I watch called Scott on Tape, and he goes to crime scenes. He goes to famous locations, things like that. So he had gone to Neverland, because now all you can do is really visit the gate, and even the airspace over. They now have it, declared where you can't. It's like a no-fly. You can't put your drone over it anymore.
You can't fly over Neverland?
No. So people used to go out there to the gate, and it's like that's a place to visit and leave whatever you want to leave.
No, the estate could actually make a good amount of money if they brought it back.
Right. But even if they opened the grounds, you know how many people would still go out there, even if they just opened the grounds where people could walk and like spend time? Listen, it would be amazing. They did it to Paisley Park. In fact, the person who manages Graceland and takes care of the archives and stuff, her name's Amber Marquez, like, she does Paisley Park as well. I mean, think about her job. She gets to like see and touch all the shit, right? Yeah. So it's like, I think it would have been amazing if they had done that, but they didn't,
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the estate right now is just... Here's the thing. The estate, I think they don't really know what to do now, because ever since leaving Neverland, they've just kind of... I mean, they haven't done anything, and almost everything they do gets some kind of scrutiny by the fans. And sometimes it's rightfully so, other times not really.
Well, and it's like, do you want to be able to... I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, wouldn't it be nicer to be able to go in and at least walk around the grounds than to just have to stand at the gate?
I mean, yeah.
And if they ever sell that place or subdivide it or anything, then what?
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's going to be like...
Like, then there's going to be nothing left.
The estate has, like, a good crop of land with a good amount of, like, history behind it that the fans know about, that fans would genuinely pay to go see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really, I think they should just do what Graceland does.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be perfect.
Well, I mean, a lot of the buildings and stuff are down, though.
I mean, yeah, a lot of the buildings are down, but you can, like...
Or at least the drone... I watched a drone footage of one of the last times that a drone was allowed to go over the property, and I think all of them were down, to be honest with you, unless it's just the segment of the drone footage I saw. But so there's not a lot left there, but it's still Neverland. You know what I mean?
It's still Neverland, even if they say
build
smaller scale
or
version,
build right. So
do
like a pared down thing. There were amusement rides. You can make that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean,
you could do a Dollywood out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could have like a building where it's like the museum, where you could have like the pictures or anything that's left. I don't even know what's left of the estate in terms of his belongings.
Yeah, no, because they sold.
He died. Well, he died bankrupt.
Yeah.
It's really sad. It's very, very sad. But so the Arvizo case, though, that one was like tried, not guilty, nothing. And what's interesting is they were allowed to bring in prior bad acts, okay? So if you've been with me since over at the main channel, I think of someone like Robert Durst, who there wasn't great evidence of him killing Susan Berman. But they were allowed to bring in prior actions, and that's where they brought in Morris Black, even though he was acquitted. That's where they brought in Kathy, even though her body's never been found and he's never been charged. And in the end, I was nervous as shit, but it convicted him. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's a major win if you're allowed to bring that stuff in. They were allowed to bring all that in and still lost.
Yeah, I don't think anybody fought.
No.
Though, Missy.
No.
I don't think
the estate pays someone to keep grounds and keep somebody there for like working security, but they have not been able to sell it.
Yeah, no, they're keeping that on their lock and key. They built a wall around it. No one gets it.
Mm-hmm.
They made Neverland great again.
Okay.
I'm sorry. With everything going on, I figure.
So there was a girl in that documentary though that went to NYU and with Jordy, after all this was over.
And like Jordy was still like a huge mega fan, like decked out.
Yes. So during the 2005,
he knew his songs on the guitar.
He would dance to his songs. Still wore fedoras. Yeah. So this is in the 2005 allegations, and he's running because it was a hot topic. He's telling his peers that he doesn't believe it, and Michael Jackson would never do such a thing. So that's why I was saying it's borderline recanting.
Yeah.
It's not formal, but there's all these agreements in place, and his dad is still alive, all these other things. But it's like, just an FYI, in 2005, during those allegations, there's peers now that have come out with the same story, that were friends with Jordan and had seen inside of his dorm room where he's got Michael Jackson paraphernalia, memorabilia and shit. It's like, so it's very sad because they probably screwed that kid up.
Oh yeah, no, probably. I mean, I will say, it's not a great thing to come out of it, but one good thing is that some of that settlement was set aside for him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that kid ever. I mean, it's not a kid now, but I don't think he ever has to really work to survive because he's got like a couple million in his back pocket. Hopefully
they did the right thing by him.
Yeah, I mean, he went to NYU. I think he's doing good for himself.
Yeah.
Me
too. Wyoming. I don't even want to get started on that, but yeah, the fact that he's technically innocent now that he died during his appeal.
Yeah, that's true.
But the same thing happened to Aaron Hernandez, and if you have a big NFL football team backing you, then you can petition to retroactively change the law. Apparently, they screwed Aaron Hernandez's daughter out of any money, and I think that's why he killed himself, is to make sure that his kid and his wife or fiance at the time were going to be taken care of. And literally, that's how much political pull the Patriots have.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just something where when it comes to money, I feel like it's just
the root of all evil.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's the root of all evil. I think money is more just, it's the root of desperation. There are people who do bad things for money because they're desperate, but also I feel like, saying, money is the root of all evil, saying greed is a problem, I feel like it's more just a pride thing.
Well, if you're unscrupulous, it incentivizes. If you have no problem lying and you're willing to do dirty shit, it's going to incentivize all kinds of things.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the person, but
well, in this case, though, I think it was just a parade of greed. I mean, there was this whole period of time, not once but twice, that in terms of the media, but more so in the '93 incident, which really kind of marked him with this title for life. There were always people from that point on.
Even after.
Yes.
With all of the leaving Neverland stuff. And the thing is, I think the video with the maid has 60-something million views. And it's it's just something. And people
don't understand that there's all kinds of connections there to people that have been legitimately caught in schemes just to try to extort Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing.
There's a book by Aphrodite Jones, you guys, that's really good.
It's called Michael Jackson Conspiracy. It's it basically just chronicles that whole trial. She was a reporter at the time of it, so she was in there for every single one of those.
Yeah, Aphrodite Jones is the kind too that she's not Nancy Grace, but that doesn't say a lot, right? If you're a few steps above Nancy Grace in terms of just thinking everybody's guilty, that doesn't say a whole bunch. But to have someone like Aphrodite Jones,
she went in that trial thinking like, oh, Michael's guilty.
Yes.
Being like, oh,
there was another one that spoke out a lot for him too, and it was Maury Povich, who he was a reporter back during this whole thing that happened in 95, where that reporter got sucked in by this kid that was claiming it in Canada. And then in the end, they uncovered this whole thing and a lot of the players that had been involved with the other family. And so it's like by the time you get to 2005 and you find some of these same key players dealing with the Arvizos, it's just like, no, I mean, they scored. When he settled, it was the perfect storm to settle. And in that, because you guys, it cost Michael Jackson nothing. This is the other thing that people don't understand. When they're like, well, he paid. No, Cochran got the insurance company to pay.
Yeah, I mean, that's nothing. And the thing is, like, I think one thing to sort of keep in mind, though, is that, like, when it comes to why that civil case and why the deposition for the civil case came so fast, because even without...
No, he wasn't innocent.
Even without the criminal case being delayed.
Yeah.
Like, there still wasn't anything to say the civil case has to happen now. I think the original intention was for it to come after.
Yes, they wanted...
But what they did was Evan and whatever lawyer he was using at that time filed a motion saying, hey, we need to get, Jordy's deposition.
Oh my God. Yes.
Because he might be too young and
listen
he might forget.
Listen to this shit, you guys.
The kid was 14 at the time. Like,
the legal...
I remember everything that happened at 14, especially traumatic events, pretty well.
Yeah, the legal terminology is preference.
Yeah,
you have to do this because there's preference in play here. And that means, so when you're talking about dealing with children, it's that their memory's fragile. So they might not, if we give it 2 years, and if you think about it, okay, if it's a 4-year-old, a 6-year-old, 2 years could make a difference in their memory.
Yeah. But when you consider...
But he was 14. Yeah. But the judge, that's the other thing that I guess we should have touched on. The judge kept making all that. There was tons of I think there was like over a dozen hearings that happened in this 3-month time span.
Of just Michael's lawyers being like, hey, we need to push back.
We need to postpone this because there's a criminal case. There's no reason that a civil case...
It's unconstitutional.
Yes. And they knew that after the fact, but this judge never once ruled in MJ's favor. So this is the other thing, even though after the fact, California themselves is like, holy shit, we've got a definite, they recognized it was a loophole. They recognized it was a problem. They changed it immediately after this was done. But this was another thing that factored into him settling, is knowing that he ain't catching one single break from this judge.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my notes.
This is the end of my notes. A lot of this is just something that's just burned into my memory because I've gone into so many arguments about this with just my friend. I mean, you tell people, hey, I'm a backup dancer for a Michael Jackson impersonator. It eventually moves into it.
Yes. Well, and there's still this general feeling amongst people.
Yeah.
It's divisive for sure. So Jordan Chandler's never spoke out, even to this day.
Yeah, I mean, Tracy, you're right. I mean, Michael was a philanthropist.
Mm-hmm.
Donating $500 million over, like, that is an insane amount of money. Like, that's something where, like, let's face it, we're never going to see that in our lives.
No.
Pull all of our money together, we're never going to see it. And think about all the good that was done with that. Like,
yeah,
for someone to donate that much, that isn't like nowadays. One thing a lot of celebrities will do when they're in trouble is they'll be like, "Oh, I'll donate like $1 million to this cause."
Like Amber Heard.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give all of my divorce proceedings to charity, but then when I don't, I'll just fuck Eli Musk and he'll take care of it for me.
But the thing is though, like a lot of celebrities, when they get in trouble, when they get canceled, they'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry," then donate like 500,000 or $1 million to a charity
and go to rehab.
Yeah, and then just call it a day. It's very much something to cover their own ass. Meanwhile, with Michael, like, he's just going in and he's donating.
Yeah.
Just because. Like,
hey, Jamie.
It's something where he's just donating because he genuinely believes the things that Yeah.
Well, for every, so some of the witnesses, well, by the way, on Tom Mesereau, yes, he just got censored in the Danny Masterson thing. And if you guys don't know, it's because he handed over information that was for the criminal case and was only meant for Danny Masterson's defense. And he gave it to the Church of Scientology, who's a named fucking party in a civil lawsuit with Danny Masterson by the victims. Okay. So that was found to be true. He was censured. Doesn't change my opinion that Tom Mesereau historically has been an amazing attorney. Okay. He started, by the way, with Mark Garagos, who sucked ass, and took on Scott Peterson at the same time, where he sucked ass. So it's like, here's this suck ass attorney, and I'm telling you, who knows how this would have turned out if he hadn't kicked him to the curb and ended up with someone like Tom Mesereau.
Yeah, no, I mean, Tom was basically the saving grace. I mean, not like the saving grace, because I think with the case, Michael probably wouldn't have been convicted of anything anyways. But Tom,
there was just nothing.
Did a great job.
Well, there was inconsistency, and Arvizo's timeline didn't even make sense.
Yeah, like I remember reading this one like badass thing that Tom did. He basically just showed. He basically said like, "Oh, you're saying Michael showed you this dirty magazine? Do you remember like the time where it was?" And the kid was like, "Oh yeah, it happened in like a specific year." Then Tom just pulls out the magazine and is just like, "This is later than what you said." He just completely...
Oh, that's the one that... So he had a copy of the one they claimed was?
Yeah. No, one thing that lawyers do is they'll have just like a binder of all the evidence, so he probably didn't have the actual thing, but just...
See, I remember there being something about a book, but when you look it up, you can still to this day buy the book on Amazon. It's not CP. It's like a teaching yourself, it's like an art book where there's, young men, right?
Yeah, it's just... Yeah, I mean, it's just something where... Really, if you just look into any of this, you're going to find, that there isn't much there.
There's not.
Yeah, and you know what? I think...
Well, and fuck the two and HBO with leaving Neverland, because that shit...
No. They're not HBO now. They are Max.
What the fuck ever. That shit was gross. And that was ridiculous. And so they say things that should be shocking, because it is. It's disgusting. Yeah. And shocking, and if it was my kid, I'd kill somebody. But note to any, but if you know shit about shit, and then if you looked at anything after the fact and looked up some of the facts, it's like there were so many holes in that, and then
there's so many timeline holes. Like Michael Jackson fans full on know what Michael was doing, and like pretty much every year, like the YouTube channel, The Detail just covers what he does every year.
Tom Mesereau selected Wayne Robson as the opening witness in his case. Opening witness, because Wade had a relationship with Michael Jackson for all of his life, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's something where like he basically was like, I mean, I can't really add to what you said. You just summed it up pretty damn well.
Those two guys just pissed me off. Yeah. But it's like there's people, but that's like when Oprah decided but I think that it's because they talked in this very graphic language. But then when you find out that Wade had really kind of himself tried to extort the family at that point, thinking that he was the be all end all, that if he came out and said something because he's been such an ardent supporter, then that's just going to do it. And it's like, when you look into where his family was at the time and where he was financially, I mean, his heyday had passed. And he had major issues. He still has major issues.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely.
Wade Robson, by the way, was the one who, broke up Britney and Justin Timberlake back in his heyday. Because he was the it choreographer.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, was that justified?
He was the one that JT was singing about when he did Cry Me a River towards Britney. Yeah. So if you hear Cry Me a River, that's Wade, So he lived it up in the heyday when he had like a TV show on MTV. He was known and traded off of being the protege. That was his word he picked of Michael Jackson. That was his life meal ticket. And so he was trying to up the game because he really wanted this show, this Vegas residency show and to be the choreographer, and they went with someone else. And that was it. He started threatening the family. He wanted money, and it was a mess. But it was just another thing. It's just so sad when you know these other cases and you realize that, no, there really kind of was a perfect storm. And it opened because so many people have been in and out of the gates of Neverland. And there were so many children that Michael Jackson had around them. But even by 2005, with Gavin Arvizo, he had already had some boundaries that he'd put up because of how traumatized he was by the 93 incident and these sort of near things that were getting caught. I mean, he had his own PI on staff and shit, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean,
he had to. But Gavin asked to sleep in his room. He was the one asking to go in there, you know, and he slept on the bed. Michael slept on his floor.
Yeah, I mean,
and Bashir, we didn't even talk about the Bashir document.
Bashir.
That gets cited a lot too as the reason why people are like, have you ever seen that documentary? That's shit. And it's like,
no, I mean, the thing about like that documentary though is that I actually remember reading the book when they showed the documentary in court. It had like the opposite effect. Because the whole point was like, oh, look at how weird Michael is being. But you pair what Michael actually says in it, which is like, hey, my father was abusive. And then you contrast that with what we're seeing, which is him taking care of like a kid with cancer. And it's like, wow, that makes sense.
Well, you know the difference. We've never seen what they saw in court. Because Mesereau required that the footage be there uncut.
Oh yeah, wait, yeah.
So that's something to consider too, you guys. As people cite Living with Michael, the Martin Bashir hit piece, really, keep in mind that jury saw the raw footage. So not the edited together footage. They saw the raw footage and still acquitted.
Yeah, I mean...
something that we'll probably never see. Although it would be great, maybe when Bashir isn't around anymore, whoever inherits that footage will one day release it, because I'm sure it would be valuable. But I thought that was an interesting little tidbit, though. I'm like, they got to see the shit we'll never see, or hopefully someday we get to. But you could tell, and there was a lot of allegations that it was edited together, and
Yeah, I mean that is the thing though with like documentaries. It's very easy to like edit things to get your audience to feel like a certain type of way. Like even just changing the background music can change the way you feel about something. Yeah. So seeing a version of it like that's more played out that allows you to think about it. I mean, it's just, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well, so there was some witnesses in the 2005 case that came forward in this documentary that Aidan's talking about, and I will put the link here because at least for right now, I think it's kind of bootleggy. It being on YouTube.
Oh no, it's the actual person who created it.
Okay, so that's why it's there. All right, so we're not talking for good. We're not talking bootleggy. So I'll put that in the description, and then I'll do a community post with it, so you guys can see it. But there's two people that actually were there in the same time that Arvizo was there, that testified. But there's been tons of kids in and out of.
There are tons of people who just like went there, hung out, went on some rides, and then just like that was it.
But what I thought was interesting is both of them said that they were given open access that included his bedroom, his bathroom. Like they were around allowed like to wander and do whatever. So I mean, would that be something someone does if they've got something to hide or they've got their CP stash somewhere? You know, it's like the bottom line is they tore that place up so many times. There's nothing. There's just nothing.
No, there's nothing. There's nothing.
The only evidence that was ever out there is of things like coaching, victims that messed things up. A lot of times people want to make them younger than they were. We're talking about teenagers.
I mean, it's really just a bunch of like reaching in order to get the conclusion that they want. And I feel like that's a good place to sort of end this whole Michael Jackson part of this because...
Cool.
Yeah, because I'm going to be real. It's very frustrating to talk about this.
I bet. Well, because people...
Yeah, no, it is. Mainly just because it's something where if you know the information, then it's like, wow, it's very cut and dry. but because a lot of people don't. It's this strange thing.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm also just burnt out on arguing in general. I think you've noticed that I've been on my computer a lot lately.
Mm-hmm.
I've joined. So I'm on Reddit.
Oh God.
Yeah, no, I'm not on a lot of subreddits. I'm on like the David Bowie subreddit, which is very wholesome. The Michael Jackson subreddit, also very wholesome.
Mm-hmm.
I made the mistake though of joining the Five Nights at Freddy's Theories subreddit, and oh my God, I when I joined it, I was like, oh, this is gonna be so cool. I love Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
I love coming up with theories for it. Oh my God, I've gotten into so many dumb. You want to know the main thing I've been arguing about for the last month?
What? Mm-hmm.
How time-traveling memory ball pits work.
What?
Okay, so
time travel memory ball pits.
So in the books, there is a ball pit that a character goes into, and then they go back in time to 1985 to see essentially the inciting incident to the whole series, which is the missing children's incident, right? But the thing is, in the games, the MCI is, 5 kids, disappear, never heard from again.
Mm-hmm.
In the books, what happens is, kid goes into ball pit, travels back in time to when it happens.
Mm-hmm.
There are all of a sudden 6 kids that are, like, dead in public.
Okay.
And
is this Five Nights at Freddy's? Is this the show?
It's a game series that then is now, like, there are books, there's a movie coming out, but essentially, one of the popular theories right now in the subreddit is that the books, what happens in the books also happens in the games.
Uh-huh.
But the main problem, though, is that there are so many contradictions. And the thing about the ball pit is that because it shows something that we also see in the games but is inaccurate, that pretty much debunks the whole theory. The problem is the time-traveling ball pit isn't actually time traveling. The agony of the event infected the ball pit. And so it's actually the ball pit's memory of the event.
Lindsay, he's talking about a Five Nights at Freddy's Reddit that he's
it's
wandered into.
We've been arguing on that subreddit about how time traveling ball pits work, and if Remnant,
time-traveling ball pits.
And if Remnant, which is basically this sort of soul ooze, can heal someone's arm and legs.
Soul ooze, he says.
Well, it's more of a soul substance. But that's the kind of debates that I get into now, which I really hate that I've gotten into that. Yeah. Oh my God.
So are you all packed and ready to go tomorrow?
I'm not all packed. I'm waiting for my laundry to be finished. In fact, I need to move it to the dryer now. But yeah, I mean, I have
he'll be back. He'll be back on the weekends, you guys. So this is exactly how it was. If you remember my big meltdown last year when he went,
it'll be
and I was crying.
Be like that.
No, I don't think.
Well, not exactly.
It'll be weird. It'll be weird having you gone 5 days a week again.
But
unlike when you go back in the fall, at least your ass is forced to be here 2 nights a week.
I mean, I'm not forced to be here this time. I can just stay over.
Oh, because you're not part of the program. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, well, your girlfriend's not there this time, though.
Yeah, true. Yeah, string theory and quantum dimensional time travel is one of my favorite rabbit holes. You know what, Sabrina? It's better to go down that rabbit hole than time traveling.
Thank God you know what he's talking about, Sabrina, because I'm like, I don't think Sabrina knows what I'm talking about. I get lazy. I'm like, he's always been into Five Nights at Freddy's, though.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you hated it initially.
I did, because I thought it was evil.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a bunch of children dying.
Yeah.
Which
it's weird.
Yeah, no, it was weird that, like,
it's dark.
Yeah, it's dark, but at the same time, it's like a fun little puzzle.
It was bad enough. I had to be like, because I'd hear you on the phone, damn this, and I'm like, excuse me, like, don't say it at school at least, because what am I going to say when my 16-year-old is saying damn and he lives with a mom who has a mouth like mine?
Whoa. But wait, that was when I was 16. I'm sorry, 16 and saying damn, that's not bad. There are worse things.
I think you're supposed to swear in front of your mom. Now you're an adult. I can't say anything.
Yeah, but
there's still things I'll be like, I don't want to know. But
oh yeah. So Sabrina, one thing about Five Nights at Freddy's is that you don't need to play it to experience it. Because there's
he has a music channel, Lindsay. Let me put his link. Let me put his link
actually, I've been meaning to talk about this. So I'm starting to make like a Patreon for my music. I'm trying to upgrade what I make my music on, because the main criticism that I get from my music is mainly just that it sounds cheap.
Well, there's a synth, like the synthesis, because you hand do the electronic.
It's because I'm using Soundtrap and.
Well, you made them yourself.
Well, no, I mean
start to finish when you were under 18.
No. Let me explain this.
Okay.
So essentially, like, you ever listen to. So basically, when it comes to how like synthesizers work, it's basically taking a sample sound and then just stretching it to your whim. The problem is, if the quality of that original sample sound isn't that good, no matter how you alter it, it's just going to sound bad. The instrument samples used on Soundtrap is bad. Soundtrap is also just bad for mixing. So it
just sounds like Ross is doing your background music from Friends.
Anyway, I just need a higher quality computer and a higher quality DAW, a digital audio workstation.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I'm trying to up my music production.
Right, Lindsay. Game. I actually was very lucky with him.
And for that, I need money. So I'm thinking of starting a Patreon. In fact, I'm nearly done actually making it. The problem is, I'm just
deciding on your content.
It's not that I'm deciding on the content. I know it's just going to be like being able to listen to demos, being able to listen to like early versions of the tracks, even final versions.
Are you still doing TikTok?
They come out. I've given up on TikTok.
You quit TikTok.
No, but the thing is, though, like the thing that I'm just debating is like number one, like I'm making it so that the lowest tier is $1 because I don't want to put that high the paywall, but at the same time, I need a decent amount of money. To do this.
You should be going on to you should do lives and stuff on your YouTube.
I mean,
I know you think it's like Boomerville over here.
I mean,
but the subs you have are loyal subs. They came from here. They love it when you come on the show. And then you can do a fundraiser.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, I'd rather have like stable income from it. And Patreon seems like a way to do it, but I also care about the quality. So you
have to create value.
Yeah.
Because people have to pay to be there to watch. Unlike, here, you can just do it and then eventually. Because you only have to get to 500 now and I think 3,000 watch hours unless you're doing shorts.
Yeah, it's 3,000. And
I'm not advocating that either, by the way, because YouTube pays shit.
YouTube is awful.
Even in terms of a part-time job, you're not going to make like even minimum wage here.
Yeah. No, that's why I'm still like looking into like getting, jobs once I get back on campus. Like I'm already getting my resume ready for. There's like 2 production jobs, like video production jobs on campus, and I like video production, so I'm gonna go into that. There's one thing where my high school is definitely paying off.
So he went to a Votech high school, you guys. So it was like a communications-oriented high school.
Yeah, so I have like a good amount of experience using like TV equipment, both like the actual cameras as well as the like boards you use to work it.
What are you going to school for, Lindsay would like to know?
Oh, I'm a music industry major. I'm still deciding if I want a minor in anything. I think this year's the first year I can decide on a minor. So I'm debating whether or not I want to do. I might just add my minor next year because this year's going to be a lot of just getting my gen eds out of the way.
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. He's a smart ass too. Like,
no, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Little mini me. Only in key ways he's very different, which is what makes me like him.
Yeah, no. One thing that I think we all know is that if we ever had to deal with ourselves, we probably wouldn't like ourselves.
I've thought that before. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like.
Yeah. That'll be great, Bill. That'll be awesome. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Think about like Johnny, who's been working so hard to get. He's like almost to his 4,000. Like this, he does gaming, and so he's on a lot. I mean, but he's been inching. And now they're going to change it, and it's like right as he's about to get to the 4,000 mark.
Yeah, because the problem is with YouTube is that there's too many people on there. You got to find your niche, and you got to like be good at it.
Yeah.
In order to stand out. And you got to be consistent with it, which is the hard thing.
You got to stay out of chroma.
You know, I mean, it's like, I will say this is also a big part of the music industry right now for budding artists. It's something where, like, platforms like SoundCloud and Spotify, it's better if you release stuff like every month.
Yeah, I've told you, like, it's changed immensely. I couldn't go, like, just reopen and restart my music business if I wanted to, because things have changed so much, and I only did PR, you know what I mean? So I'm like, it's just, everything has changed, and it really, you know, it is. It's like social media and sort of open platforming and things like that have changed so much. So
yeah, I mean, I will say, like, it's something where if anyone actually follows my Instagram, you'll know that, like, about like a month.
Do you want me to share? Do you want me to share your Instagram?
Yeah, sure.
What's your Instagram handle?
Ace Cola _1104.
Ace underscore
Ace Cola underscore. There's no underscore between the Ace and the Cola. 1104.
All right.
Mm-hmm. So essentially, like, about like 2 months ago, I said I was delaying everything because all of my music, because I want, like, quality control.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why is because, like, part of the reason why people argue that music has gotten so bad lately, especially mainstream, is that a lot of the big artists, in order to stay relevant, they need to crank out music, like, every, like, couple months.
Yeah.
And that is not enough time to get, like, a good project going. Like, I can say this from experience. Like, it took me, like, a year to release, like, 6 songs. Like, to work on those 6 and release it, that took about a year. And even then, I'm still working on them behind the scenes. Like, I'm doing a re-release of that album because I don't like how it turned out.
Yeah.
So it's something where, like, I mean, that is amazing.
Hey, baby Jane, how are you? It has Kim. I'm sure I could start singing again. Well, it's just, I just, you know, because my PR business was dealing in crisis PR. So it's when things would come up and they started to lose income, and it became enough to where they needed to have a specific separate PR plan that had to do with rebounding their income. And the bottom
line, Weiland every 6 months, essentially.
And Seth Binzer. Yeah. Yeah. You know, you had your bread and butter clients, you know, but,
so wait, did you work, like, directly for Scott Weiland then, or was it more just like?
No, I was contracted directly. Yes.
Oh my.
So I was part of his team when this STP thing hit.
Wait, so you left though, like, after he fired Doug in, like, mid 2014, right?
Yeah. Well, at the end of that tour.
Yeah.
And then the next year I did not go back.
So at the end of, like, Purple to the Core, that's when you left.
I left before they released their single, their own album.
So before,
but it was after all the changes.
20th Century Boy came out.
Yeah. And so I didn't go back, but there was indications that Scott wasn't doing good then either. So he had a new manager, and he had a team around him that was very enabling. And that's not what that wasn't my goal. You know, that wasn't my thing. I was there to help people rebound that,
you know, were willing to change. And the thing with Scott was that he made, like I'd argue that, like, from, like, Velvet Revolver on, he was pretty solid. Like,
yeah, he had periods.
Yeah, I mean, there are times where he went back on the drink. He was very on and off of that, but
he didn't consider drinking relapsing.
Yeah, no, he didn't, and he didn't.
And there came a point.
He didn't relapse on coke until one of his bandmates died.
Yes, that's what's clear is that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think with Scott, it was just drugs were his trauma response. You know.
Well, it's how he nulled pain.
Yeah.
But he was like he was a very I mean, complicated and sort of had a proneness to dark moods and stuff, and he had a special personality. He wasn't easy to work with for most people.
Yeah. Oh, don't be greedy, Aidan. Okay, look, I don't make music to be like to make money. You want to know how much I've made over the last 2 years?
You guys, how much I've made? Me working in music, crafting, working and still working in music, right? There's one thing that's universally been instilled into this kid. It's that follow your dreams, but if your dreams are in music, you figure out what your backup plan it, how you're gonna feed yourself while you're trying, all that stuff. He knows the name of the game.
I mean, I've only made like $3.60 over the last like 2 years from music.
That's what it looks like.
It's more something I create because I like it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Passion does not always equal payment. That's just how it goes in life.
Yeah.
And I think you have a solid grasp on that. You know how to make things work.
Like, you want to know one thing I'm actually kind of worried about, though? The Scott Weiland movie that's maybe going to come out. We haven't heard any news from it. Honestly,
STP shut it.
Oh, wait, the band, did they shut it down?
The band shut it down. Are you talking about the documentary?
Not the documentary.
Okay,
the
not
actual,
the documentary.
like, biopic that they're making. That was announced, like, 2 years ago, and nothing's come of it. And
there was a kick-ass documentary that was going to come out, and STP shut it down. They wouldn't work with the licensing of the music.
Oh, man. No, that's okay. No.
And how do you have a Scott Weiland documentary without the music?
No,
you can't.
The solo stuff, I guess.
You can't.
But, like,
well, hopefully one day something will happen on Shake Loose, because the kids... actually, is Lucy old enough yet?
Yeah, I think Lucy's old enough.
So, thank God for Mary fighting for as hard as she did, because he did. He passed away with a lot of people in charge of his shit that suck, and that's partly why some of these things like merchandising and releases happen, and they're a shit show. The merch section of his website is shit. Yes, it's shit. And I'm going, that's what's so sad, is that he passed away and there's not been a single like project of any good quality.
Yeah.
No offense to like the autopsy people and all that other stuff. I'm glad it got Doug some money, but it's like that's about it. I mean, the
thing is, they're like, I mean, I think in some way they're kind of screwed because they only have a solo discography to work with. And the thing about that was just stuff Scott made for Scott.
Yes.
You know, like...
Well, he was very eclectic in his musical.
Yeah, like, I think the 12 Bar Blues re-release is going to be the most successful thing they'll do for a while, because 12 Bar Blues is the only solo project that people have, like, really strong opinions on.
Yeah.
And even then, like, I took a look at, like, how it's doing on YouTube. It's not doing that good. Like, I mean, it's doing better than my music. But
even as a solo artist, he did not have...
he didn't really
I wasn't around then, but I'm like, he didn't have a good team promoting things. You know what I mean? So it's like him, Doug. I mean, people that were around in that time just got screwed. I mean, they had to live like a bar band, even though it was Scott Weiland, and that shit could have sold much better. Yeah. And because it's great music still today. I mean... Yeah, Happy and Galoshes was amazing. That's just all I'm going to say. It's his solo work was awesome. His Christmas album.
I bought 12 Bar Blues on vinyl.
Yeah.
You know, I mean...
on eBay for $100, and that's because they released it, and it's this very limited release because they're assuming fans don't want the actual vinyl and all the little special perks. They're like, oh, and then a month later we'll release it.
No, they still haven't released like
the electronic
versions of it. So I think it literally was just something where we're only going to make 4,000 of these bad boys. We're going to say they're limited edition.
And I think most of the record stores that were able to get their hands on them kept them for themselves, because immediately they drove up the price, and that's why you saw them up on eBay the day they were released for $100.
It's weird. But I will say, like, I've been thinking about this for a while, because I love movies. I'm just going to say it. I love movies ever since, like, I got into my digital video classes.
Is this where I find out you want to be Dawson?
Don't patronize me. No, but, I mean, look. I'm a huge fan of movies. I wouldn't mind, being, like, a cinematographer for projects.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
so a few steps under Dawson Leary is what you're aiming for. All right.
I don't need to be the producer.
Okay.
If I can do the shot composition, that's great. But I've been thinking about like what a good like Scott Weiland biopic would be, and honestly, like your Bohemian Rhapsodies and Rocket Mans and all that. Scott's life does not fit.
I mean, it has, because it's like it could be great or it could be really shitty. Yeah, and it just depends if they want to go with because the media version has always been, it doesn't matter what good he ever does, they always have to go back to the drug arrests and all the other, And
I mean, there were good parts about him too, but there were also like bad parts about him. And the problem is, like, I'm sure the estate wants to paint him as like a great guy, Meanwhile, everyone else, like I don't
know that, but I don't know that for sure because the estate was headed up by Mary, but that interest is but that was vested for the kids, and so it's passed to Noah, who has his own issues.
And Noah isn't doing really. Noah's focused on his own stuff. I don't know if
it's passed over to Noah and Lucy, and I don't know anything about Lucy's acumen business wise.
Yeah, I will say, Lucy posts a lot more about Scott than Noah does. Like Noah didn't even mention him on Father's Day.
Yeah. Well, Noah seems to be in his own world, and I worry he's walking down.
Well, no, I mean
some of the same.
He's clean right now, so I mean.
But he fucked up his first thing. Like their music was good. He got.
Yeah. Oh my God, The Weeknd, Suspect 208. Okay, so Suspect 208 was the band that Noah Wyland made with the son.
So
of
Noah's son is Scott's son, and then Hudson is Slash's son. So they've known each other for a long time. And Mary stayed friends with Slash and the guys from Velvet Revolver after.
It was actually partially because of Mary Velvet Revolver even happened.
Yes.
So, anyways, though, so Hudson and Noah, they come together. They create Suspect 208. They release their first single. You know, it's pretty good. Gets
I thought it was good. I thought it was great.
And then what winds up happening is that
he's a good singer. He is.
Yeah. So
he's talented, but we all know.
I'm going to tell a bit of a personal story. So this is before.
Oh wait, hold on. Ooh. Thank you, Sabrina.
So this is before Crafton moves in with us, right? When Suspect 208 happens.
Yes.
Now, I am in the middle of planning out getting my braces. And so what happens is that my mom decides hey, I'm going to go, because this is the point where you two were doing the online thing.
Mm-hmm.
You decide, hey, I'm going to go and visit Crafton. Are you going to be okay to be by yourself for a couple days? And I'm like, oh yeah. What's the worst
couldn't tell you because I knew you and you'd be like, what? Who is you?
No, I already knew Crafton existed. I didn't know you were going to bring him home.
I know.
But
and I couldn't tell you.
So what happened though was that I get my braces in. It hurts like hell. I'm at the house by myself taking care of the animals, and then I hear that Suspect 208 breaks up, and I'm like, what is going on?
You did. You text me about it. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, shit.
I've had some bad weekends. That one was...
Shut up! Oh my God!
No, I'm sorry.
Your stepfather will be amazed to hear that. It's the worst weekend of my life.
No,
Suspect 208 broke up, and
I
then
was in physical pain, and my mom is not there.
And Crafton shows up at my house,
Yeah, Crafton shows up at my place. You all know the first thing I did once I learned that Crafton was here? I was like, okay, I'm getting my video game back. Because at that point, your ex had my copy of Chrono Trigger, and I was like, okay, I want that back. There's a chance I'm never going to have it again.
Yeah.
So I just get that back.
Oh, God. And because the Chroma bitches will want to say stuff, how old were you? He was in his teenage years, and actually Chris came over once a day to check on you.
I was 17.
Yeah.
Because that was after a certain person. Oh, wait, no, wait. I don't think I was. I think I was 16.
You might have been. No, because it was... No, you were 16 about
Yeah, I was 16.
You were about to turn 17.
I was 16 because
I left. You would have been 17 because I went to pick him up in the second week of January. It was January.
Oh, yeah. Wait, I was 17 because the pandemic was going on.
Yeah,
okay.
Right after. Yeah, because it was January of 2021.
Yeah. Hold on. Sorry, I chronicle a lot of my life just based off of who was I friends with at the time and when did that.
That's part of being young. When you get older, you'll have different benchmarks.
Because you're young.
When we get older, we have other benchmarks. We're like, where was I working then? Or what was I doing then?
But for me...
What car did I have then? Where was I living then?
But for me, it's like, was the pandemic happening? And was I still friends with this person at the time?
Right. Mm-hmm. I know who you're talking about anyway.
Yeah.
So he was 17 when I went to go drop off Craft, and I still had someone who came and checked on him in case he needed anything. Because, you had... And your braces, I think, had been on for a week. It's just that it hurts, didn't it?
No. You were gone by the time I got him on.
Who?
You were gone by the time I got the braces on.
Did Chris take you to do it?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Well, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know getting braces hurt. Whatever, Aidan. Your braces weren't so tight that you couldn't be mouthy when I got home. And you're like, who the fuck's this guy? You brought him home?
I mean,
I couldn't tell him because he's like, Aidan was like, he's not like my dad or anything, but it's like, you know, he was old enough at 17 to where I knew I'd get the Grand Inquisition. I'm like, listen, I'm the mom. None of your business. You're leaving me in a year anyway. And you did. So there you go.
Yeah, I did. I mean,
because you guys grow up and then you fucking go off and forget you have, and then you meet girls and you're like, yeah, what, mom? You know, just leave me here with my cats.
Look, like, there's a camera here. I'm not gonna finish the sentence I had in my head, but basically, here's the thing. For me, I'm more of a logical kind of person. You know, it's something where when I think of something, I don't think of something like emotionally. You know, if like if I saw,
that's true,
and it's something where like, okay, wait, it doesn't hurt. Teeth are just sore after. It hurts
Aidan's gonna disagree. But that's the thing, Rose, is I'm like, you know, it wasn't optimal timing, but listen, we had this shit planned and coordinated, okay? Because it needed to be where he could be like, give me the fucking key back, motherfucker, which happened. And then I had to go get him while his like psycho fucking crazy bitch was at work so that she didn't try to kill him or something. And so it was like we had to coordinate this shit up. And it was just a matter of time, right? Before something happened and he got, you know, I don't know how he stayed on the phone with me for 11 days and this chick never noticed, but it's like, it was getting to where.
I mean, look, I'm just going to say with just how it started. I mean, the fact that he went behind my back. I know. I don't like that. And we're telling you parents out.
You had to have him twice?
Tell your kids what's going on.
Well, at 17, yes. But I've talked to you about that. I'm like, I could have been more open with you about the plan, but and I did not take enough respect for the fact that at 17, even if I wasn't going to leave you with the input, right? Even if you weren't going to have the final say in things, I could have at least talked to you beforehand. But I didn't. So is what it is. Because you left me anyway.
I mean, well, okay. All right, let's not get into that, because getting into that opens
abandoned me anyway.
I wasn't
ran off to college. Who does that?
I was planning on still staying in this house.
Who the fuck runs off to college anyway? What fucking kid does that when they get out of high school?
I was planning on still living here. Okay, my plan was to commute.
Hey,
it's
but you're not driving, so that's life.
Yeah, I mean,
the metal bands on the.
There's a reason why I didn't learn how to drive that we both know about. Again,
well, you didn't do driver's ed. Crafton said he'd teach you if you want an old man teaching you how to drive.
And then certain things happened.
Chris was willing to teach you how to drive too. I didn't like
Chris.
Yeah, neither of us liked that idea either. He's like, I can teach him how to drive stick.
We may as well just fly William out here to teach me at that point.
Yeah.
Which, oh my god, wait, hold on. Where's my phone is over here. I want to check Instagram real quick.
Oh god, Aidan.
I'm sorry. I find it funny.
No, you don't need to put his shit out here because that's none of our business anymore. So he still follows my ex, you guys. He has a new. I did talk about this actually because have you noticed? Have you been into your Netflix account lately? I did talk about this on the morning show actually on Friday.
Yeah. No,
all of a sudden, Jordan's in the mix with us. So it's me, it's Chris, you, me, and Jordan. And I'm like, well, that's not awkward. I'm like, good for her if she does. I have a feeling she doesn't give a shit, just like I wouldn't have given a shit back in the day. But it's like, I'm like, yeah, nothing like a cozy little Netflix family. Welcome to modern day relationships where your ex is still on your Netflix account. And
I'm still watching Better Call Saul.
Good times. But Aidan spies on them, and I'm just like, leave him alone. Like, okay, I'm married.
I don't spy on them.
I'm married and shit, so it's like, just let him. If they're happy, let them be. I hope she's happy That's what I think. Because I'm like,
no, because honestly, the thing is, I'd be fine with it if I didn't know there was a kid involved there.
Yeah, well,
that's the main thing for me.
So this is the ex, you guys, that like, let's go to counseling, and then we do, and he gets diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. Never went back to well, you know, that was it for him. So he has issues.
Self-destroyed.
He has issues that'll never get fixed. So yeah, the fact that you're keeping up with his private life though is something where I'm like, do we really care? But whatever. He's an adult, you guys. I can't keep him from doing it.
You can't stop me from cyber stalking.
Cyber stalker, exactly. Cyber stalking.
The man still lets me follow him on Facebook. Okay.
Well, I'm the one who blocked him. Like, I kicked him off mine. I only blocked him for a little while till I realized that he accepted shit, and then I unblocked him. But we're not friends because I don't need to know what he's doing. And
yeah.
I don't think he cares what I'm doing. I don't care what he's doing.
Yeah. No. I mean, honestly, when it comes to, I think just another part of why I didn't like Crafton at first was mainly just because I basically knew eventually you two were going to get married and he's going to be a stepfather, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, like, honestly, by 17, I pretty much just accepted, like, I don't need a dad. Yeah. I'm good. I'm good. I got morals. That's fine. And then, like, a year later, I got a girlfriend without having someone teach me how to do it. Okay, all right. I'm
and he's still giving you handy advice since then. You can't take that away from Crafton. He's giving you some
I mean,
it was handy having a male figure around for some things and girlfriend
but then
life.
I could also just, like, talk to my friends about it. In fact, my friends arguably gave me better advice.
Oh my God. I don't want to know. Just stop. Just like I told him, I don't want to know what you guys talked about.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
No, but actually, I will say this. When it comes to, like, figuring out, like, how to be a good boyfriend, in my opinion, it's kind of better to talk to women about it than to talk to a dude.
That I will agree with every single time. Yes, talk to female friends about
like that's why
for the relationship advice when it comes to like towards the girlfriend. I think that's true.
Yeah, like
no, it wasn't that he did not like any thought of any guy being too heavily involved in our life at that time.
I mean, it's not that. It's more just I needed to like have a decent sense of who they were. You know?
And you were denied that because it was like a long distance relationship, and we weren't together very long before he was here. So
yeah, and so for me, it was just something where this random guy comes in. They've only known each other for a little bit.
Yeah.
In my mind, it's just red flags.
He was being protective. Yes.
I mean, honestly, I still am. You know?
You're always going to be protective of me, and that's because we grew up together to a certain extent. Let's just be real about it.
Let's just be real. We didn't have the typical, mother-son kind of dynamics.
Yeah.
You know, it's something where we both kind of had to be the adults.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's something where like I pretty much became like the mediator to a lot of like arguments that would go, especially with I could say his name, right?
Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, we've already said his name.
True.
This is the guy, you guys. So this was my New Jersey boyfriend. I had a business back home, so my music business was in Seattle, and then I opened an office here, so I'm doing back and forth. And so Chris was my boyfriend here, and then eventually sold the business.
If you guys see me looking at my phone, that's just me looking at the chat.
Moved here. Yeah, he's rather than use his thing, he's looking at his phone for that. So when I moved here, and then like I said, this is the guy. So I was with him for 8 years, I guess.
I mean, on and off.
It was right. I mean, he was only.
He basically
2017.
He became a glorified roommate at some points.
Yeah, 2017 is when he moved. When I kicked him out, and then but he was the one that I talked to you guys about. He was diagnosed with narcissism, and he would.
I got all my friends to flip off his house.
He would hover. I mean, it was like impossible for me to move on, because of how he would just be here and he'd pop up. And it's just crazy stuff. But I've talked a little bit about that over on the other channel, because that's part of why me and Crafton bonded so fast too. We both had what we consider to be narcissists, and mine was just diagnosed in our life. And it was like both of us had this like arrangement where it's like we're not quite with them, but then we can't quite get away from them. And that's where we very sincerely say we saved each other. No one will ever be able to change our story. They can try to turn it to what they want, but I don't know where I'd be now.
I mean, I will say, I will honestly say this when it comes to all the shit that happened with Chris. Like, I basically had to turn into a mediator, more or less, just because it mainly was just for my own sanity. I had to believe that there was like some part of him that like was kind of okay. You know, like I remember there were times where I'd like every once in a while I'd take his side in an argument, and you'd be like, "What the fuck?" And like,
it's hurtful.
I mean,
because that's what he does. He triangulates people against other people. You know what I mean? And so to have him do it to you.
Look, I'll just say this: like, we're all people. We all have parts of us that suck and parts of us that are good.
Mm-hmm.
If someone is saying like something negative about you and it's true, I'm not gonna be like, oh, they are dead wrong. I'm going to be honest and say like, yeah, to some degree there's truth. Like,
mm-hmm.
I mean, that's kind of the thing. You kind of, for me, I live my life knowing that everything that
so what you're trying to say is that I'm a combative bitch when
okay,
when someone's trying to push me or when somebody is being rude at you
are
I will. And that's what sucked, you guys. When you're with a narcissist, they want to own you. And I'm sure you guys, just on your interaction with me here or watching me, even if you're new to watching me, no, I can't be controlled. It'll never happen. And that was a bone of contention always. But he was sneaky and he was a piece of shit.
I mean, I remember there was a time where it was right when we just moved in with him.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a bit where like you learned he was cheating on you and it created this whole sort of thing. But eventually you guys made up, but I didn't trust him at all. So I remember what you guys did was you had me like sit down with him and like try to like talk it through. I mean, as much as you could with someone my age to try to like, make him like understand the intricacies of infidelity. And
your feelings mattered. You know what I mean?
And I remember, like,
but that's because that was part of my deal staying with him. Is I'm like, you've done damage to more than me here.
But I remember being like forced to like hug the guy and just being like, what the hell is even just going on anymore? Like, there was just a point where I knew that like the relationship was just kind of unreasonable. Like, there was a point where like.
Yes.
There was a point where I was like 11 or 12 and I was like, he's more of a means to an end at this point than an actual like relationship. I mean, let's be honest.
Oh, he said that his laptop was getting updated. And that's why it wouldn't turn on here. He is using his phone. It's cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. When you grow up around, a lot of arguments, you kind of, for me at least, you learn the truth that when people argue, it's oftentimes just different shades of the truth, whether it's, reflecting something from them or reflecting something from the other person. When someone argues with me, when someone gets angry at me, it's not something where I think, oh, they're 100% wrong, discount everything they say. I think about what they actually, said about me, and it's something where I, have to change myself. She who must not be named, when that whole thing went down, it was something where, we both ended it kind of like a bit angry with each other, but it was something where I
won't even talk about, I won't even talk about that because she drug you along for so long. I have my own feelings about her. But...
All right. Do not go.
Well, since you're sitting here talking about Chris, I can sit here and talk about she who shall not be named and the fact that you were her back burner boy.
I was not.
In my opinion.
I was very clearly in the friend zone there.
You were friend zoned, exactly, but
I put myself there. I knew full on, like, yeah, I like her. It's not better if we move to that. If anything, it'll just make it more strained. Keep it as it is. It works.
Worked out great for her. Because she always had someone to talk to.
That's what friends are for.
And then it would stress you out, and
I mean, look. If you are gonna try to like talk about that, the thing about she who must not be, I guess that's what we're calling her now. She who must not be named.
You called her that.
And true.
Yeah.
Like the thing about that is that like. The thing about like both of us is that we both just kind of had similar things where we had to sort of grow up too fast because of our surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
So part of the reason why that's part of the reason why the friendship even worked in the first place, just because we could like help each other through that kind of shit.
Yeah.
You know, like,
these guys. So this is a girl, you guys, that he met at Graceland.
You're already giving too much away.
Oh, sorry, she didn't listen to my
There's
show.
only
she fucking doesn't listen to my show. Nobody from your camp listens to my show. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but I don't want some.
My demographic.
I don't want some random hater being like, "Ooh, I want to figure out who this person."
Oh,
is.
I think you've given my random haters plenty in your trip down memory lane. Anyway, don't you think? I don't think they're going to hone in on this chick who was never even your girlfriend.
Why are you saying that like it matters?
It doesn't matter because I love Charisse, and what's meant to be is meant to be.
There's a reason why I wasn't saying her name.
Oh, I thought you were talking about her.
No, not her.
You know, you have like stuff of like her pictures and stuff over.
Well, I mean,
on
yeah.
I mean, Instagram and stuff. So
yeah, she's just not comfortable with us singing. No, I'm talking about like.
I know who you're talking about.
Okay,
and I haven't said her name, have I?
Okay, good on you.
Good freaking Lord.
Yeah, so no, the thing with that was that we both like had to grow up a bit too fast with our surroundings. So it was something where a lot of our like friendship was just about like learning to live with it, learning to sort of be more out there. You know?
Yeah.
It just became something where we sort of naturally grew apart because we started developing our own.
Well, you guys grew up. I mean, you guys met when you were pretty young.
Yeah, so it was just something where we grew up, and then like our little like idiosyncrasies started to grade up against each other, and then it just became something where, I mean, sometimes things would come up with me and I'd alienate myself. Sometimes things would come up with her and it'd just be something where.
Well, that's natural.
Yeah, I mean, it's
and that's something that never goes away because in your whole life you'll be that way. Where there's going to be times where it's just easier for you to handle things.
I mean, here's the thing: like even now, we still like talk every once in a while. It's not something where we're on like bad terms with each other. It's more just something where we just kind of agree that like. We're not going to.
Well, the good news, Diamonds and Pearls, is I've openly talked about my relationship before Crafton, and so Aidan's really just putting his input into that, and it's a glimpse too why I get so fucking angry when people even try to implicate. Aidan's been through enough in his fucking life, and as you can see, he's come out on the other side. We both have. So when people try to fucking plot and plot against my kid or try to fuck with anything concerning our life today, that's why I don't take too kindly to it.
Yeah, I mean look, like, I mean, one thing about like I will say this, like, I still don't like a lot of times where you like talk shit about she who must not be named. You know, I mean, it's
not like I do it that often.
I know you don't
bring
do
her.
it that
I don't
often,
think of the girl till you bring her up. I know you're still friends. I think her and I still follow each other on Instagram. I don't have a big problem with her until I thought that you two might end up dating, and then I'm like, oh wait.
That was never gonna happen.
You know my nickname for her.
Yes, I do, and I think it's disturbing.
Well, you can say that all you want to. I used to be a teenage girl with well endowment too. So.
God damn you. See,
well, look at how it all worked out for the best, though.
See, this is why I never told Mom about Charisse until we were like already dating.
I know. But I love Charisse. She's a good girl.
Oh yeah, no, she's awesome. Yeah, no, I know how to cook now because of her. Mm-hmm. In fact, I'm making fried chicken after this is over.
Yeah, I adore his girlfriend.
Hey, so do I.
Oh, good. I'll be one of those moms that if you guys ever break up, I'll be like, no, I'll be crying too.
No, I mean, here's the thing with like both me and we're both at this point emotionally intelligent enough to, God forbid, something I think so too. Happen.
Well, they're both only kids, by the way, so it's like she really is a good match for you. I can tell.
Yeah, we're
balance each other well.
Like I said, God forbid if something does happen, I feel like we're still gonna come out of it not like hating each other or anything.
Oh, that's the famous last words, but okay.
Well, no, because it's something where if something comes up, we're gonna talk to each other about it. Like,
right? No, you guys seem to have
like that week where she was over. Like, we did like have some like little
tensions.
Yeah, we still had some tensions, but we talked it out. Like, it's something where, like, by the end
well, you guys got a good, like, preview about what life would be like after college, like, living together. No, it's one thing when you can retreat to your separate dorm rooms and you have, some separate scheduling and get time away from each other. Yeah, that was being trapped with each other for a week,
Yeah, and honestly, I think it turned out pretty fine.
Yeah, I mean, you guys seem, like... We could just feel the tension in the air. I mean, that's fine, because we're just down here doing our stuff.
Yeah, no, it was just something where, like, we'd, like, spend a night, like, playing Mario Kart and then, like, just talk.
Yeah. Well, that was cool though too, because you guys hadn't seen each other in so long.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this, like,
it's fucking hot here too. I was just complaining yesterday about how summer is taking forever, and then it's muggy as fuck today.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this about like the environment that I grew up in. It made me mature faster.
Yeah, we had a lot of changes.
I mean, emotionally, I had to mature faster, or else like I just wouldn't have survived.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a lot of how life works. You have to adapt to what's thrown at you, and sometimes it's something where like if it's like something that can only be solved like physically, you know, it's that's difficult in its own right. But in an emotional sense, it's completely different.
Yeah.
And I still got work to do. Like I remember.
Oh, honey, that's like a lifetime thing.
Yeah, no, I know it's a lifetime thing, but I remember during senior year of high school, a whole year ago, they started offering like these meditation things that happen during lunch.
Yeah,
I remember just trying one for the fun of it, and part of like meditating is letting all the thoughts leave you, letting everything just sort of go by, and it's just whatever lingers.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I felt this sort of nothing. You know?
Nothing?
Yeah, I felt like...
This is deep. You're getting real deep for it. Yeah. This is YouTube.
Yeah, I felt like...
This is YouTube, honey. I don't know. You want to go this deep with life?
Yes. Yes, I do. I felt this kind of, I guess...
Glenn!
You're going to find this funny, how I describe it, but it felt like this big empty. You know?
Oh, boy.
That's really is the best way for me to describe it, though. It was just...
Maybe I should change your closing song, then.
Maybe.
I have that over in the stash.
No, but the thing is...
Now that we've gone Dr. Phil with
this
shit.
Now that we've gone Dr. Phil. And the thing I've pretty much noticed is that, like, when it comes to my feelings, it's something where I can work through them with music and work through them with, like, keeping journals and all that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's still something I bury. You know, it's not something that I delve into that often, and whenever I do, it's because of some greater artistic intent. In fact, like I've
some of that is that your brain works different.
Yeah, I mean,
and processing emotional stuff is inherently harder for you. And you grew up in I'm a highly emotional person.
Oh, I did not check my messages. I should.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. But I'm a highly emotional person, so you had to be around my highly emotional ADD-ness.
I don't think that was it though. Like, I mean, you pretty much showed me that, like, yeah, you need to you need to show emotion sometimes. Sometimes you need to just like talk. I mean, you set a good example on that front, honestly. It's just... Yeah,
I'm like the kind, like, I can't hold it back. My emotions, if I'm angry, you're going to know it. I'm not good at pretending. I don't play poker for that reason. You know, like...
Yeah, I mean...
Hello.
I mean, the thing
How are you?
Like, I only really call upon, like, my feelings when I'm making like albums and that kind of thing. And honestly, for me, it's something where I'm just...
Well, you do. You draw.
I mean, I'm reevaluating that though.
But it came out in your art. You did it with drawing and stuff too. Like you were always more creative than... Yeah,
but I mean, like I've told you that like I'm doing a Bowie thing where I'm just killing the character that I...
Yeah, he's gonna dip on his... his stage name, so his channel name will likely change then too.
I mean, I'm changing my stage name, but I figure if I'm gonna change my stage name, I may as well go all the way with it and just I pull a full Bowie and just like kill Aidan Davis Cole.
And I told him like stop that shit. That's weird.
No, but I mean, I love that kind of conceptual stuff.
But that's fucking weird.
I mean, I know that it's weird, but I'm fine with it being...
being weird.
Yeah, I'm fine with it because honestly, like the whole idea of that persona was me accepting everything of like what I was and turning that into art, and now I'm just in a mindset where it's like I don't need it anymore.
Life's gone on. That's
I don't need it anymore, and that's
maturing.
You know, and that's why I'm like, that's why I'm basically killing. That's why this whole like series of albums I'm doing is basically it's just dissecting the idea of what he even is. You know, like... It
feels disassociating.
I mean, it may be. But
maybe you need some Dr. Phil in your life.
Maybe I do.
Could be.
Maybe not exactly Dr. Phil.
Maybe not, because he's not a real doctor. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Dr. Oz is. But sorry, I hit the wrong thing. Try to turn the camera back on, and instead I unmute myself so I have feedback.
more mean is that like the whole idea.
I wonder what I'm not. I don't play poker for that reason. Because if I'm excited about what's in my hand, I'll be like all excited.
No, the whole idea of the character though is like just lingering on the past and not letting it die.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not.
No, your past is part of you.
I mean, it's still going to be a part of me, but the parts of you that are like, I feel like on some level we all have these parts of us that aren't going to be fulfilled. You know, I'm not going to be able to make up for I'm not going to be able to make up for the fact that some things I wanted to happen in my past just didn't happen there.
Yeah, that's a lifelong thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lifelong thing, but there are just some parts of your past that you've got to like leave lost. And the thing with Aidan Davis Cole, with that whole like character of just going back constantly and like looking back at that, there comes a point where like it's good to use that because of how much time goes into making the music.
The cat's laying down there. That's why he's barking.
Yeah, because of the time that goes into making it, though, I keep myself in these like mindsets for so long that it just becomes
probably
more,
not healthy.
Yeah, and a lot of like, there's like one of the albums that I'm working on right now. There's like a part of it that goes into like the actual like mental effects of that, and in my opinion, part of like killing Aidan Davis Cole again, like. I'm working on Bowie logic here, okay?
It's a little too fucking literal, I think. You don't think it's a little too copycat and like just cliche?
It's not.
And what is it? Yeah, Aidan Crafton's at his job he doesn't have.
Yeah, but part of just like letting go of that persona is just dissecting why the persona doesn't work in the first place. You know, if you disassemble what it means. If you disassemble the metaphorical meaning of it, then it no longer holds any power. So a lot of it is just conceptual stuff, and I like conceptual. I mean, I mentioned that I get into arguments about how time travel agony ball pits work. You know, this is the kind of stuff that I like talking about.
Five Nights at Freddy's, you guys, that was a little earlier.
Yeah.
If you missed this and you want to watch the beginning, it was far more content based then. That's why I knew better. Where I'm like, we're talking about the Michael Jackson case, and then Aidan's going to take it where he wants to take it. I knew that would happen anyway.
Yeah, and I went full narcissist and started talking about my music.
You're not a narcissist. Thank you, Vanessa. Like, we can't, that's the other thing. Once you've been around a clinical narcissist, suddenly you're a lot more leery about using it as a slang word. It's like people...
Leery?
I did my, I was supposed to do it yesterday, but I moved it today. So my 3:00 live was on the new Fatal Attraction series.
Oh, the one with Joshua
Jackson. Yeah. I'm like, he didn't age well. Maybe it's because every time I look at him, I see...
It's because he's shaved, honestly.
It's because he's pacey. I'm like, I look at him and he's just like an old pacey now. And it's like, so whatever other character he does, I'm just like, I can't really see James Vanderbeek do much. And I'm like, it's Dawson. I mean, that's how it's always going to be.
I will... To anyone in our audience that is male and getting older, if you want to hide that, grow facial hair. That's the best way to do it.
You're saying it's because he was clean shaven. I think he probably had to be for the role, honestly.
Yeah, no, I think he had to be. But like, especially if, like in my opinion, like when you get older, it's much better to lean into it than it is to try to look young again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like what? Again, I bring up Bowie. What Bowie did. You know. As soon as that man hit 50, he was like, I'm not even going to try to look young anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Screw it. And I respect him all the more for it. Anyway, where has this gone?
I don't know. You took it here.
I know I took it. Okay, so TLDR.
What does that mean?
It basically just means in short.
Oh.
So, just to wrap this up, I am metaphorically killing the persona of Aidan Davis Cole,
which is his channel. That's his stage name.
Yeah,
because getting back to Krama bitches around here, right? Like the main Krama bitch, the stalker one, she more or less was like, he's doxed his whole fucking name, blah 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 blah. I'm like, that's not his name. That's his stage. That's a stage name.
That is not my middle name.
That you want middle name, but yeah.
Yeah, no. You want to know how I came up with that name, actually? I was thinking about like, oh, I need
Sammy Davis Jr. I know what you were doing.
Yeah, no, I was going for like a Miles Davis, because I like the idea of like having a name that's like slightly sort of jazzy, something that sort of insinuates some level of sophistication within the music, you know. And I was going through my record collection, being like, who would, oh my god, I was going through my record collection, being like, what last name would work for me. You know, and I got to like my Blue Train record, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should go over like jazz people. And then I immediately thought Miles Davis. I was like, oh my god, that would work so well. And then I remembered, oh,
that's how you know I don't
force my mom never liked the name.
I didn't like it anyway.
Because Davis actually, can I reveal that too?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's his biological dad's last name, and I'm like, I'm sure he's still stalking around. Now that you're 18, it's all up to you, but he's gonna take that as some sort of sign. He in a weird way has.
I mean, part of the reason why I accepted part of the reason why I accepted it as my station name, though, is that the whole idea was that, you know, the station name was meant to also kind of represent me accepting all of me, which meant having to accept the fact that, like, there's this side of me that, like, I don't like looking at.
I get it.
You know? So, but also it's part of the reason why I'm just...
Have you seen it? I know you didn't watch the series, but...
No, it's on Paramount. I probably am not going to watch it.
Have you watched the movie ever?
I haven't watched the movie.
Oh, you gotta watch the movie first.
Yeah.
Because it's based on the movie, and it's like, that's the big thing, is like, how much it does or doesn't.
Yeah, is that the one with like Sharon Stone where she kills a bunch of people?
No, that was Basic Instinct. Although they have the same sort of, you know, dramatic, mysterious flair to them, and Michael Douglas is in both of them, so it's probably
that probably is the.
But no, this was the one with Glenn Close. It was like in the 80s, so it's definitely, you know, before your time. But it's, I don't even know. I would say that it's like should be must watch for men, but I don't think you'd get yourself in that situation.
No.
You're a little too serious for all.
No. Actually, I want to know, has anybody in chat, The Weeknd dropped a new show called The Idol. Has anyone actually watched it? Because, my God, it is so bad.
Mm-mm.
I'm not going to get into it because it'll scar my mom.
It's a TV show?
Yeah, it's a TV show. It is so bad. So, do you know the TV show Euphoria?
Yeah.
Yeah, and how, like, the main criticism of the latest season was that, like, it basically was just all, like, sex scenes with barely any story in between.
Okay.
Yeah, so with The Idol, it's basically just the same thing. But the problem is the subject matter that they're dealing with is so serious that when it cuts to, like, any of that stuff, it's just, you get this whiplash of, like, what the hell is this doing here?
Mm-hmm.
You know? It's awful.
Where is this? I'm going to show you a thing, because I'm like, you might have seen this and just not remember. It's the one where she boils the bunny. You've never seen that movie?
Nope.
You'd remember.
Yeah. No. When it comes to, like, old movies I've seen, I usually just go for, like, the ones that, like, you know, they force you to watch in, like, film college, you know? Like I've watched The Man Who Fell to Earth and, like, Chinatown. You know,
that's Fatal Attraction. If you'd seen it, then you would remember based on that alone.
I mean, it looks vaguely
familiar. Don't watch it if you don't have to, actually, now that I think about it, because I'm like, it's a warning label to all men everywhere. And it remains unscathed from the series. The series did not anywhere come close to touching the movie.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's weird, though, when people try to adapt, like, a movie into a series.
Oh, no, it was good up until the last episode. They had a really good thing going until the last episode.
So wait, what happened? Was there just, like, a plot twist that didn't make sense?
Yes, it was so Scooby-Doo, and it left it open for a part 2. And it was like, there was, like, 2 major fuck-ups in the last episode that just was like, wait, I just spent... God. And then I have to say it, and you're here now, so you'll understand. I said this in the one about the series versus the movie. I'm like, how many fucking shows is Joshua Jackson going to be in that have the fucked up ending? Like, how many?
I mean, honestly, I like messed up endings if they feel like earned.
Well, what'd you think of the Dawson's Creek ending?
I mean, I was fine with it.
It's called Dawson's Creek.
No, look,
Pacey's Creek.
I used to have like a big, like, mind kerfuffle of like, oh my god, why didn't Dawson get the girl? But like, upon rewatching
there came an age that he was like stealing my Dawson's Creek on DVD, right? Before like streaming was all that.
I still have some of those in my room.
I bet you do.
Some of those are just unwatchable because they're just scratched.
I'm sure they are.
Yes, they are.
I know.
I'm so sorry. I do have Hulu, and Dawson's Creek is on Hulu, so you can watch it.
It was on Netflix for a little while, so
yeah,
it moved to Hulu. I don't have Hulu.
No. I will say though, like upon rewatching Dawson's Creek, I kind of noticed that like the whole point of season 1 wasn't really Dawson and Joey getting together. It was Dawson growing up.
Well, that was kind of the whole thing. That's what I mean. He's the focus, but in the end, he doesn't get the girl. They didn't even have him fuck until the last season. It's like
it was 5th season.
Oh, it was 5th season. You're right.
Yeah, it was 5th season.
God, you're right.
No. Honestly, though, like I like where Dawson was at the end of the series, though, compared to where he was at the start. Like he became like he was a lot more like emotionally mature, which I think we all can agree is a good thing. And in my opinion, like in order,
God, we were talking about this on. He
doesn't need to get the girl to have a happy ending, though. Like
yes, and I think we'll end up talking about that a lot more. But we talked about it over on Crafton's channel. It's not the last live; it's the one before it. So 2 lives ago, we talked about it because I'm like, that's a deep diver. That is a deep diver one, if I've ever seen one. And the more you dig in, the more it's just fucked up, and there's just fucked up people on all sides. Natalia Grace is the dwarf who was re-aged to what would now be 33, but then her birth certificate said 16. So when her adopted family got her, she was supposedly 6, but there was all kinds of things, and then the court re-aged her to 22. It's a crazy story.
Yeah.
We won't get into it, but yes, I have. Stay tuned because there's a lot of that is going to come on that because Crafton's way into that too.
Yeah. Now, if you know what, how much do you remember the later seasons of Dawson's Creek?
I remember they sucked. It was like a whole different show, but it was like, but that's because they had like weird things going on with Joey, and then they killed off Dennis, and I was like,
yeah, they killed off Mitch.
Right, Mitch. Why did I think his name was Dennis Leary?
No.
That's the comedian. Yes, but when they killed off the dad, I'm like, the fuck?
No, I've watched so many shows where they kill off John Wesley Shipp, and it's like, why? I watched Dawson's Creek. He gets killed by an ice cream cone, essentially. Remember, he drops
because he drops the ice cream cone.
Like,
you're right. He did get killed by an ice cream cone. You're right, because he dropped it.
And then I watch like The Flash, and I'm like, oh my god, John Wesley Shipp's in it. And then in season 2, he gets killed by the main villain. And then he's brought back as an older version of the Flash.
Yeah.
And then he gets killed in the like Crisis event. And then they bring back his 90s version of the Flash.
Crafton just texted to say the band up now is playing STP. So so it's Lake House Music School.
Oh, Lake House.
Yeah. So that's what he's doing. Is these are 2 days of like their showcase.
Oh, yeah.
So he was all complaining about yesterday because I guess it was the shitty people.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like he couldn't get it to sound good because
I think Big Beats does that too. They just take the people that are like.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys separate it out, but it's like this clear. He said this one's pretty clear that it's like they put the people that weren't very experienced in last night, and then tonight is like the people that know what they're doing.
Yeah, which song are they doing? I need to know what degree of taste they have.
I'm asking.
Wait, there's Tiny Music. Okay.
Yeah, all of my albums are there.
Yeah.
My CDs.
Yeah.
I don't even know how I was gonna say I don't even think that they have a CD drive on this computer. Like it's like where do you even play your CDs at anymore? I guess in.
I mean, I still have my CD player.
The DVD player might play them, maybe.
I don't know. Also, I kind of stole your the actual vinyl inside of that purple. Never gave it back.
You still have it?
Yes. Hey, I use it. All right. No way in hell am I touching that.
That one's not. I was gonna say
that one is a special edition. I'm
like the core one isn't even open. So
yeah, no, I'm not touching that core one. No, I'll just buy my own core. But for purple, what the?
Well, it's good.
Ray, get off the keyboard.
Oh, that's because he wants to be on anything of Crafton's. Yeah, it's sad that.
Yeah,
and he saw it. And
I loved that '70s show. Now it's hard to rewatch
Aidan
it.
loved that '70s show as well. So I was like, yeah, what do you think of all that?
I will say this about that '70s show. One thing I really loved was how they handled like Eric and Donna. They didn't give them that will they won't they crap. They got them together in like the first episode, and then it's just the rest of it is just like them trying to make their relationship work. You know, and then they had to do all the like will they won't they crap in the later seasons. But
yeah,
I mean those
sexual tension sells.
I mean, yeah, I mean, honestly though, like when it comes to like. I feel like when it comes to like a bunch of people, I
just had to put this up one more time, so we'll close out all of our Dawson talk now. But
yeah, I mean, oh my god, remember the random writer boyfriends Joey had in season 6?
She had all kinds of random boyfriends. They made her a skank in the later seasons. She got skanky with it, right? Like she wouldn't put out for the longest. Remember how Pacey had to like try forever or whatever, and she was like, I don't know if I want to, and they like built up also that.
Yeah.
And then she gets skanky, and then Dawson still doesn't get laid very quickly, even once they skankify her. Just like he like had his first like sexual encounter with a skank.
What? Dawson's first time was with Jen.
I get that, but his first sexual encounter, like, you know.
Oh, like one night stand kind of crap.
Well, like, not sex in the Bill Clinton way.
Wait, what?
You don't remember with like Jen's sister, whoever ended up being Jen's sister, like the Eve chick?
Oh yeah, I kind of. Oh yeah. Oh man.
They got caught while she was doing a Monica.
Oh wait, no, they didn't actually get that far.
That's not how I remember it.
No.
And I've watched it a lot.
No, they didn't get that far. It's just Dawson had his shirt off. That's literally all that happened.
She was on her knees.
No,
I think you were too
Look,
young to pick up the innuendo of what was going on. Is what I think.
It wasn't something where like nothing had happened yet. I guarantee. I rewatched season 3 like a lot because it's arguably the best season. I would have remembered if Dawson got a blowy. Okay, I would have remembered.
A blowy. That was the implication of what they showed. I'm just saying. So his first making out, either way, was with a skank. Like clearly, Dawson's Creek writers had preoccupations with skanky girls, and in the end, because they made Jen skanky when she came in, right? She was like, that was the big revelation, is that she's not this wholesome.
You're just out here slut shaming fictional characters.
But they did that. So I'm like, what kind of message were they giving girls like me at the time, right? No wonder I went on to blow 30,000 people to get my political job. You don't remember that? I had to be away from you forever to do that, right? That's how I got elected. You didn't know? The Chroma Chicks figured it out.
Well, okay, hold on.
No.
Okay, look, I will agree with you on the actress Dawson dated. I will agree with
Who?
you. It's a season 6 thing.
The actress in the movie that he was doing.
Yeah.
Right. That was about him and Joey, by the way. Wasn't it?
No. It was a horror movie.
Then why did the bedroom look just like his house? Or was that season 6?
No, it was like a meta thing, because it was like a Scream reference.
Because it was his bedroom.
Set. No, but it wasn't about Dawson. It was like a meta thing.
Okay. All I'm saying.
No, they were working on a horror movie.
Isn't it? It's no wonder that I had to have knee surgery, you know?
Yeah, no.
Damn.
Anyway. No.
Didn't make you train of thought, sorry.
No, I will say though, there are a lot of like kids these days that are raised off like TV and raised off the internet and that kind of thing.
Well, social media now too.
Yeah, and I feel like TV still kind of needs to set an example for like what healthy relationships are like. Like that's why I loved that '70s show, because it was something where Eric and Donna for the first 3 seasons had a relatively healthy relationship, and if you wanted will they won't they drama, that's what you had Jackie and Kelso for. I'd argue a similar thing with Friends, you know, once you get to like
Did you think 5. Danny Masterson was guilty? Or were you just hoping that he wasn't?
I mean, I was hoping that he wasn't, but a good part of me was like it probably happened. Like, I mean, the guy's a Scientologist. You know there's something up with them. You guys remember when Anonymous went against Scientology? That was the best. Oh my god. It's amazing what a bunch of strangers on
He
the
said,
internet
shit, the one that goes, I don't mind, I don't mind, I don't mind, get away, get away. He's wrong on even the lyrics.
What?
It's between the lines.
Oh, wait.
He's like, get away, get away.
Oh, wait. Leave me all alone before. Get away.
Yeah.
Wait, do you have that album on CD? I don't think you do.
Yeah.
Wait.
I do. I have all of them.
Huh.
It's up there somewhere. And if it's not up there, it means you took it at some point.
No, because I'm going to be real. I'm not a huge fan of that album. No way did I take that. I remember stealing Shangri-La Da. I don't remember stealing STP 2010.
It should be up there. Yeah. Because I did have it. I did. But if it's not, then it's...
No, I remember... I know I saw the CD for that in your, like, little, like, CD pouch thing that you put in the car.
Mm-hmm.
I just...
Yeah, it's somewhere.
Yeah. I will...
In the mix.
Yeah. Anyway, what was I talking about?
I don't remember.
Yeah, wait. Can you check the amount of... I'm sorry. I'm very much a capitalist.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Down with communism. It only works in theory.
Why? You want to know? Are you trying to decide if you're going to stay on based on how much tips I'm splitting with you? Is that what you're trying to do here?
Maybe.
You're so greedy.
Hey, look, I mean, we've already concluded with what people came to the stream for initially.
Well, I still am going to have to make Craft and watch it because we're going to have to go back and talk about the NAMBLA stuff because you don't want to talk about it.
True.
And you have to get creative in how you talk about it here on YouTube anyway. Because
How we're gonna talk about the Kiddler Diddlers?
The fuck? That's like... Yeah, these NAMBLA dudes are fucking scary. Yeah. But I'm like, wait, what? And it's like, you think that's bullshit until they, like, you find out the FBI did a whole sting operation on NAMBLA and uncovered how these people, two of them that are central figures in the Michael Jackson shit, were, like, dying for it to be true because he would normalize their gross society.
I will say this, like, NAMBLA in some form still exists. Like, I remember there was a huge controversy because on Twitter, there were, like, these pro-diddling.
Oh, can we just not use that word even? Because that word grosses me out.
Okay.
Hold on. Now I got to put a fucking, now I got to scroll the fucking helplines and stuff because you're getting all weird with it.
Okay.
Diddling. That's the worst word you could use for it ever. Do I still have my hotline numbers in here somewhere? Somewhere I did. No. Good Lord, Aidan.
Oh, no. Oh, jeez.
What? Well, at least how's she messaging you?
Computer.
Oh, that's right. So she can text?
Yeah.
Or is that a message?
Yeah, no, Instagram works on your computer.
The girlfriend got her phone taken away by her mom for a little while, so they have to be creative about their contacting.
Yeah, we have to get creative about how we get the phone back.
Yeah,
I've been concocting schemes on how to get it back. See, one thing I've learned from Chris,
you're such the
it's how to be morally flexible.
Touche.
Nah, my first thing was to just trick the mom into thinking that her friends are all worried about her. Because, she wasn't able to, like, talk to people because, phone's taken away. And, like, it worked to a point because her mom just told Trace, okay, look, you could text people on Instagram on your computer. So there was that. Now we're just concocting schemes to just steal the phone back since we know it's in the house still.
Somewhere.
Yeah. I think I did this while you were working at H&R Block. you like remember how you were like you can only use your electronics for a certain amount of time, and then you would just like tuck them away.
Well, no, I had that basket out front that you had to put your stuff in.
But then
so you'd wait till I'm at work and then you get into it.
No, it wasn't when you had the basket, because there's a point where you realized the basket wasn't working.
Was bullshit, yeah.
Yeah, so you would just move stuff to the top of the fridge.
Because I gave you the honor system and you had no honor.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I can't hear honor without thinking of Zuko from The Last Airbender being like, I need to regain my honor. Yeah, no, I had no honor, so you would just put stuff at the top of the fridge, and it'd be like, well...
I think you're messing up your timelines. I did that back when you were little, because you couldn't reach on top of the fridge.
No, but you also did it while you were at H&R Block.
Oh, well. So it's not like I don't know then that you could just go and take it off the fridge and whatever.
Yeah, no. It was something where I would just very quickly, like, if I heard that you were, like, getting home early, I'd just, like, shove everything under blankets and be like, oh, nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong.
Sneaky.
Again, one thing I learned from Chris, how to be morally flexible. See,
sad that you learned anything from Chris. Like, you should just get rid of any knowledge.
I would be a good politician, though. I mean...
What's that supposed to mean?
That most of them
I wouldn't want you to...
I
wouldn't... I know. And if you do have morals, you're not going to last there very long anyway.
Yeah.
Nobody
I'm
should go...
surprised Obama got to be president.
I miss Obama.
So do I.
Hate on me, if you will, people.
Anyway, let's see what's going on in chat. You know, because I feel like we've been talking about nonsense.
We have, but I built that into this. I knew that you would.
Yeah, you knew.
I knew you would.
Yeah. Here's the thing though. Here's the thing though. Every time you message someone on Instagram, right?
Mm-hmm.
A notification pops up on their phone where you can actually see what the message is. So I don't actually know if her mom is just looking at our messages while we're talking.
Well, she probably is. So his girlfriend's mom is very strict. She's like a strict Christian lady.
Yeah, No, here's the thing. While Charisse is over here for the week, she technically didn't have permission, but because she's 18, she can just kind of...
Me and Crafton told everyone on the morning show that you guys pulled me into your sinister plot. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, her mom's probably going to hate you from now on, by the way. And
she does. Especially after, like...
Yeah.
I tried calling Charisse's phone.
Yeah, she's probably like, fuck you. Well, she wouldn't say that because she's a Christian, but...
Yeah, no, she doesn't swear. She doesn't. No. If you swear around her, you have to immediately apologize.
Well, your wedding's going to be so fun.
I don't think we're gonna invite her.
Oh, that's sad.
No, I mean, I will say this: when it comes,
you have to let your kids expand at some point.
Well, yeah,
it was hard for me to do too, but it's like it feels like maybe her mom is delaying this process a little bit. Yeah, because she's got to let her have the freedom. Like if she's going to college and surviving for a whole year. That's pretty good indication that she should be allowed to regulate her own phone activity and things like that. That's a little weird.
I mean, honestly, I see though, like the thing about like being a parent is that like you can't really ever let go of being a parent. Mm-hmm. You know, at least I don't think that's something you're going to be able to do.
Going off camera, you guys just smoke.
It's just I get why people don't want to relinquish the reins.
Yeah,
like I know.
Well, it's hard.
I know it was hard for you.
Oh, like, yeah, for sure.
Not like because of EOF last year, I wound up like not being able to be there physically for your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had to like sneak a phone call to you. Like during the day, I had to like.
So, are you going to be on like the duty patrol now, where you have to make sure that these kids aren't using their phones and stuff?
Yes, I got.
Oh my god!
Have to be the narc
you have to be the narc hall monitor.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, that's gonna be.
I know people have told me that, but they said not to do like the e-cigarettes that you get like at the grocery store and stuff like that. That you should get like actual like juice vape.
Yeah, no, it's. Yeah,
I haven't seen the one of them playing video games. Me and Aidan used to love the ones where they parse together like clips of Obama and then Trump like singing and saying things.
Oh my god, the President's Let's Plays. I'm subscribed to some of those channels.
Mm-hmm.
It is so
those are fun.
Funny. Here's the thing. I wish the presidents were like that in real life. Although I feel like when we look back though, like I feel like these AI presidents are giving people different perspectives on the presidents. Some that aren't true. Like under the AI presidents, Trump is actually not as bad because usually he's presented as like the one that's hot-headed, but occasionally has like decent opinions.
No, but it's the ones that used to make him sing songs and stuff.
That was fun. No,
those
AI,
are funny.
AI has gotten so advanced they can. Like,
no, but they would parse like.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm talking about? We used to watch them.
I know. Obama like singing Hotline Bling. That.
Yes, like where is that? I haven't watched that in forever. Hotline Bling.
Yeah,
Obama.
I know he went to like one of Obama's like political things before he became president.
Back when he was a senator. Yes.
Yeah, were you able to actually meet him or not?
Yes. Because I was in politics. Oh, there's a couple of them now.
Yeah, no, because it's a lot of AI. I will say, like, people are thinking, like, oh my god, AI is going to take over the music industry, but, like, I feel like all it's really going to do is, like, if it's regulated.
Who are you growling at, Kenny, while you lay there? Here we go.
Phone. Late night when you need my love. Call me on my cell phone. Late night when you need my love. And I know when that hotline bling. That can only mean one thing. I know when that hotline bling.
You guys seeing this stuff?
That can only mean
it's
one
so
thing.
funny.
Ever since I left the city,
you got to take for yourself now. Everybody knows, and I feel left out. Girl, you got me stressed out.
All right.
Because ever since
that's all I can do. I'll put the thing in here so we don't get struck on it. But shit is funny. We used to watch that all the time.
Yeah, no, we watched that around the same time that the SNL skits about the election in 2016.
Oh my god, we survived 4 years off of just parody.
We barely survived it though.
Yes.
Let's be real. Like,
see, that's probably too. I knew right away though. Afterwards, remember I ordered you I got on eBay and got the WrestleMania that Trump was in.
Yeah, you also got me a mask. You got me a Trump mask.
Yes.
I showed Sharice
so I could show him how fucking ridiculous it is, and like, listen, we just gotta have to laugh this shit off for at least 4 years, okay?
Yeah. But then the pandemic happened. And,
that wasn't so funny. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Black Lives Matter happened.
Yeah. Floyd happened.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean.
And then we're just getting ready to go into the next election season. Yay! Isn't it going to be fun?
Although Trump will probably get indicted, though.
Yeah, all this bullshit happening over here, you guys. We're having all these issues with YouTube. It's because every social networking site is gearing up for the Wild West reopening for the election season. For sure.
Honestly, at this point, like, politics are so polarizing, and they've seeped their way into like everything, including media, which is one thing I hate. Like,
Trisha,
like the new Little Mermaid is something that I.
Oh my god! Okay, Coach Eli.
Okay, let me explain.
Here we go.
Let me explain. The thing is, I don't think the movie's bad. I just think that like.
Did you see it?
Like I've seen, it's basically the same.
Oh my god, you guys, my kid is the son of fucking pirating. Okay, somehow he finds shit online, and I'm like, that's got to be a fucking bootleg. Why are you?
Look, I haven't.
If the FBI ever
look, Mom, let me finish what I'm trying to say.
The FBI ever show up to my house and they're like, someone in your house is pirating movies that are in the theater that they shouldn't be. If they're pirating The Little Mermaid right now as we speak. Like, I'm not bailing you out.
I'm not giving Disney my money for that. Okay. Look,
you'd love the Napster days, just saying.
We technically still live in them.
Yeah, I know. Apparently. I don't want to know about it, though.
The thing about that movie is that, like, it's not a movie that seems to be made with much passion. It doesn't really seem to be, like, it's part of, like, the live-action remake money scheme, essentially. And, you know, though, that part of the reason why they casted who they did was because they wanted those, like, you know, woke points.
Yeah.
Like, you know that's part of it.
I know. I watched Coach Eli, and he told me all about the woke Little Mermaid.
Look, here's the thing, though. Like, one of my favorite movies that's come out lately is Across the Spider-Verse, right? And the thing about that is that, like, that movie filled to the brim with like these diverse characters, and it works. It doesn't feel like something where like, oh, they're trying to get all political and this bitch. They're telling a good story, and the characters' arcs are what come first, not the whole trying to push something thing.
She felt like it was like the agenda laden part was the.
Yeah, I mean, it's when the agenda
trying to sneak the agenda in on kids.
You can still
we just want to see her and Eric kiss.
No.
Rescue the princess.
What I'm trying to say is
fuck this woke shit.
No. I'm saying the priority when making a movie should be the characters, should be the actual story. It shouldn't be.
Well, what did you think of The Lion King? Because it was the same sort of concept, right?
I mean, honestly, I didn't like it that much.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Donald Glover was great in it.
Yeah.
You know? Like with that.
So you're just kind of against the live action thing, and then you don't like that they put an agenda in there as well.
Well, I hate that the agenda clearly was put first rather than actually like reinterpreting The Little Mermaid in like a new, unique way.
Yeah.
Like, especially because that movie is just terrible to look at, you know?
So Stale Snifter says Michael Jackson's birthday's coming up. Maybe you can do a live stream performance.
Sorry about that. So for Michael Jackson's birthday, the Michael Jackson impersonator that I work for, he's renting like a boat. So everyone from his class, as well as
all his former students,
not all the former students, but the ones he currently has, as well as a couple other people, if they're willing to dish it out, can come on. So I'm going on there since I'm on the payroll.
Oh my god, he went like to the rich part of the neighborhood. We were all excited the last time he had work. I think we had done a live stream maybe right after it or before it. We had to go pick him up, and it's like, Jesus Christ, like he's rolling in the rich neighborhoods, like
and they didn't tip us. They didn't tip us.
Oh, they didn't? Oh, God. Well, that's the thing about rich people. But it's like, if you're gonna have like literally hired MJ with his whole backup crew for a backyard barbecue.
Yeah, that was weird.
But yeah, of course, and then they don't tip you. They're Kylie Jenner.
Yeah. I say down with the Kardashians.
Well, they are kind of they're fizzling out anyway.
They're fizzling out. Yeah.
Their influence has waned.
Actually, what are your opinions on Kanye right now?
I don't have any.
Yeah, I mean, ever
is he still crazy?
Ever since he saw 21 Jump Street, he's no longer racist. So.
I was gonna say, is he still doing it? Because the last I heard of him, he was doing some really crazy, weird stuff.
He literally made a post being like, "Okay, I saw 21 Jump Street. I've changed my mind. I'm no longer."
He cited. Excuse me for yawning. He cited 21 Jump Street as like his epiphany. Really? Yeah. That's great.
No, literally.
Kanye's weird. I just can't. I still like some of his music.
That's the thing about woke movies, it can't be insincere because it lands flat.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I mean, here's the thing though. Like, wokeness is the ultimate like get out of jail free card though. Because like, remember when the new Star Wars trilogy came out and everybody like hated the character of Rey, and people were like, and Disney defended themselves with being like, "Oh, you guys are sexist," when most of us were just saying like, "No, she just isn't written that well. She isn't even an arc when it comes to like learning to use the Force, which is like the whole point, Okay, you guys need to come to Vegas to see the MJ1 show. I wish I could. I have no money, and the money I'm saving up to get a new DAW. And then
one of these days,
saving up money to go to Liverpool. So someday, somehow, somewhere,
when you're making the big bucks, isn't that the one though that that he was trying to get on as the choreographer?
I think it was that one.
Is it the Cirque du Soleil? Is one the Cirque du Soleil one?
I don't know.
It was the Cirque du Soleil one that Wade Robson was trying to get on when he...
No, I haven't... I won't be able to see that. I wasn't able to catch...
well, it's been going on for a long time. You don't know that. It doesn't sound like it's going anywhere anytime soon.
Yet. I don't know if we're going to be able to catch MJ on Broadway either.
So they're doing Broadway? I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, there's been a Broadway show for the last, year.
Oh my god, I'm so out of the loop.
No, I haven't been able to watch it because they haven't rolled around here, and I mean, the last Broadway show I ever saw was the Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. I took you for your birthday,
and that was the one where a guy died in the middle of it.
You were little then.
Yeah,
That was fun, though. We got to see the tree and all that. I took you to the Cake Boss Bakery. Probably don't remember that, though. You had a whole meltdown that day, though, about your gloves. Do you remember that?
I lost the gloves?
No, you didn't like your gloves.
Oh.
I had to make you wear them because it was New York and it was cold.
Ah, okay.
But I won't embarrass you by talking about all that.
Yeah,
Not the state I live in. I can't, however, have my local vape shop.
No. Like, okay. It's just
MJ Broadway show, and he loved it.
Yeah, okay. So just again, summarizing my Little Mermaid spiel.
Okay, yes.
I feel like when it comes to movies, if you're going to make one, character comes first, the story comes first,
Mm-hmm.
then, cinematography and script, follow after that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna put, if you're gonna try to put woke stuff in it, like, don't use that as a shield from criticism.
Yeah.
Like, the main criticism of the new Little Mermaid movie is mainly that, like, it's literally just the original, but looks worse.
Looks worse?
Well, yeah. I mean, the colors are just horrible to look at, honestly. And it's not like shot in it. It doesn't use the fact that it's live action to its advantage.
Okay.
Essentially.
So they missed the opportunity.
Yeah, it's more of a missed opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
So if someone says, like, hey, I don't think The Little Mermaid was good, they're Disney is going to be like, oh, that's just because you're racist, like that.
Okay, so that makes more sense
Yeah.
to me. What you're saying is that they've interwoven something where it's like, now if you disagree, then you're not X, Y, and
so much
Z.
in the past 5 years that you can tell when companies are baiting it. Like, you can tell when they race swap certain characters, that it's like they're not really doing it because it's gonna change their character in a meaningful way.
Right.
They're only doing it to get the controversy out of it.
Yeah.
It's like with the creation of Miles Morales,
Mm-hmm.
that's something where, the people writing the Ultimate Spider-Man comics were like the main person writing it was like, hey, I've got this daughter who's mixed. She doesn't have, like, a popular superhero for her, so, we just killed off Peter Parker. So, you know what? Let's create Miles Morales.
Mm-hmm.
They create his character. He's Latino and black, and it's part of his character.
Mm-hmm.
It's something where his character was created with that in mind.
Right.
And his character works all the better for it. Meanwhile, taking Ariel and being like, okay, let's just tone down the lightness. That's probably the worst way to phrase it, but just, like, swapping that and then being like, okay, we're woke now. It's like that.
Well, but it comes down to, like, what you were saying, though, about how TV should have better, like, examples of relationships. You don't think? So you're mixed, obviously. You don't think there should be some representation out there for you?
I think there should be representation, but it shouldn't be half-assed representation.
So you just don't think it was very well done?
Yeah, I don't think it was very well. I think it's just something where they did it to get, like, some brownie points, some pats on the back, and a little bit of shield from criticism. It's like when Batwoman on the CW came out.
I didn't watch all that. Didn't they have a whole string of shows like that where it was all these, like, Marvel and different superhero releases of some kind? And
yeah, like, I remember when Batwoman came out, there was a bunch of, like, criticism of being like, the show itself just isn't that good, and also just, like, in their attempts to, like, make it woke, it kind of just got in the way of actual, like, of us liking the characters.
Yeah.
But then like people who are diehard TW fans would just be like, no, you're sexist because you don't like Batwoman. And, like,
mm-hmm.
and, like, at this point, it's just something where I think a decent amount of the viewing audience is just jaded overall.
Jaded.
Yeah, just jaded on the whole, like, idea.
Well, so this is the thing about Aidan, you guys. He's always been a critic, though, of music, of movies,
I mean, like, I'm
always.
a critic.
You are a critic by nature.
Yeah, but it's
when it comes to those things,
Yeah, but I think it's something we're trying to use, like, politics to shield yourself from criticism. It's like, at that point, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's mainly just the new Star Wars trilogy that's gotten me like this, because at that point, it's like, with that trilogy, it started off so well, and then they just, like,
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, thank God you haven't. It's so awful. Well, it's not.
Didn't
awful.
I have to see Lego Star Wars with you? No, I think Crafton went with you to that. Thank God.
Wait, for what?
Lego Star Wars.
No.
No, that was. No, I went with you for Batman. There was
No,
was some Star Wars one that I didn't go to. I made Crafton go.
You went with me for the Lego movie, and then Chris took me to the Lego Batman movie and to The Force Awakens, which was
no, because you and Crafton went to a new Star Wars movie.
No.
Pretty sure.
No, all the Star Wars films were out before Crafton was even a thought in your mind.
I don't know.
I remember. The Rise of Skywalker came out
you
while
can
I was still in middle school.
You can be right. It's fine. I'll let you be. Are you sure?
The last Star Wars movie came out when I was in middle school.
You were going to see movies like in 2020 during the pandemic? When was the last one?
He doesn't know when to let it.
When's the last one that came out?
When I was in middle school.
I don't remember that though. Then what did you and Crafton go to see together? Because I got you like movie stuff.
It was for the new Spider-Man movie.
Okay, well, thank you. So it's not like I'm just dense. It's just that it wasn't the movie I thought it was. Gosh.
I really wish I could have seen the new Spider-Man in theaters though.
Mm.
That was Across the Spider-Man.
Don't you want to see Barbie?
No, here's what I want to do. I want to see Oppenheimer by Christopher Nolan, and then immediately after watch Barbie. Because I'm sorry, those two movies look good, but for completely opposite reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like Oppenheimer, it's a Christopher Nolan movie, and for Barbie, it just
hope everything's
seems like
okay.
it just seems like the most like fun, cursed thing ever.
Right.
Like you can't tell me Ryan Gosling as Ken doesn't look fucking funny.
Oh, Ryan Gosling's being Ken?
Yes.
Well, that'll be good.
And Michael Cera's in the movie as well.
Auntie. Well, who's playing Barbie?
Margot Robbie.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So Margot Robbie and yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting casting.
No, I think Margot Robbie's a good choice. She's a good actress.
Yeah, no, for Barbie, yeah.
Yeah, no. I argue it's like
Ryan Gosling as Ken. That's pretty good though. I mean, that fits.
No, Ryan Gosling went on like an interview once, and like he was offered the role, and he was like, "I need to think about it." And then he saw like his daughters playing with Barbies, and Ken was over like in the mud.
Yeah.
And Ryan was like, "Oh, okay, I need to play Ken now."
All stars do that though. Like, there's always the movie that they did just because like their kids think it's cool.
Yeah, I feel like that's like, I think that's a lot of it. Anyway, okay. Are we done with the woke stuff now?
Yeah.
Yeah. For the record, I'm not racist.
Who in the fuck is setting off fireworks?
I think it's the junkyard people.
The junkyard people. The parking lot next door, you mean?
Yeah, the parking lot next door.
It's not a junkyard, it's a parking lot.
Really?
Just looks junky.
Oh.
Our audio's off, they said. I don't know. I needed so I have to watch the trailers because I just started making fun of him. It's like when he was a teenager and I caught him watching Judy and Moody's Not So Bummer Summer.
I don't remember that.
I know you claim you just get to claim you don't remember. I remember.
I legitimately don't remember.
And I got to tease the shit out of you for like a solid summer for him.
I legitimately don't know what happened on that front. I really don't know.
I think you were starting to be like into girls because you were like younger, so maybe it was just you had to watch things on TV that are like that's when you had Katie Holmes pictures up on your wall, and as long as you never were watching like Hannah Montana or anything.
What?
Like Hannah Montana, you never watched that stuff. But no, you were watching because you were
but you took me to Titanic in 3D.
We did go to see Titanic in 3D.
Yeah, so when I was like 7, you introduced me to 3D boobs. So
you couldn't see her tits in that movie.
Yes, you could.
No, you couldn't. In a drawing, they didn't show them when they backed up.
They actually did show them.
Are there boobs in Titanic, you guys?
There
Am
are.
I just forgetting this? Hold on.
Yes, there are.
Hold on.
No, I rewatched that movie when like the pandemic happened, and I remember it being
there boobs in the movie Titanic. Maybe there is. I just remember. I don't think you saw her boobs.
No, you did. I remember
when he's drawing her. Or is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Jack shows Rose his drawing to depict a woman's bare breast. That's all it says.
Okay, hold on. Incognito tab.
Her bare buttocks is visible as she stands. So there's like butt crack. Hold on, I'm in the parents' guide here. It's just Rose falling over.
I
don't think that that's in the movie.
That is in the movie.
Camera cuts away to view behind her before anything is shown in the front. But the new drawing of Rose is shown a few times. So that's some fucking other cut that you're looking at.
That is in the movie. I will bring down the DVD and bring down my DVD
But that's
player.
their DVD. In the theater,
The DVD
there
is
was
the same
no
as the
boobs.
theatrical cut.
No, I don't think you're correct, because I took Michaela to that movie too, and I would not have taken our friend from church's daughter to go see titties. And not that her mom would have cared, because her mom was my best friend, and I know she wouldn't have cared. But I don't remember titties in the movie. Does anyone? Can anyone back me up?
Chat.
No, you're not allowed to show the thing you just pulled up, which could be from some pornographic site. They're probably Google.
It's from the movie.
It's Photoshop titties. There were no titties in that movie. There was drawn boobies in the movie. It cuts away. You could see the top of her butt crack as her like kimono's falling down. But then when she's there, like, draw me like one of your French girls, you couldn't see it.
Fine. Hold on.
And you could see like cleavage level top of boobies in the car when they got it on. That's it.
Hold on.
I know I'm right. So this one he can just argue all day long. Now there could be some fucking like NC-17 cut somewhere I don't know about, but I didn't take you to see it. So, okay, so you got two people that say they remember boobs. Because I just checked like the Christian website, like on the parental advisories, which is what I would have checked back then anyway. You could Google the titties all you want to. I can't show them on here, so
I know, but I'm
just going to have to go and watch it. It's probably on some streaming service where I can watch through it and just.
No,
and I know
I
right
just prove,
if it's that scene, I can go to it to see it, but it still doesn't change the. I don't remember.
Yeah, hold on.
Release.
Hold on. Damn it! The thing fucking cuts off. You know what? It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. I'm just telling you.
I know I'm right. So. I know I'm right.
What was the rating on it?
PG-13.
You don't get a PG-13 rating with tits.
James Cameron had to fight for that. I remember reading an article where he was like, I had to fight for PG-13 boobs.
Right, but I'm saying, I don't know. The DVD releases and the streaming and stuff like that, they can take it to the R rating if they want to. But I'm saying the theatrical release.
But the DVD itself also says PG-13.
And that was years and years ago. But I don't think so.
Chat, you know I'm right.
Can you show boobies? Oh, I want to say boobies. That's not the part. Can you show breasts on PG-13 movies?
It's going to say that you know.
It says you can see a breast, one boob, or the illusion of sex, but not simultaneously. So they can do like down to here, which is what I remember. So I don't know. I'm going to have to go back. I'll have to research this further. Because I'm telling you, I would have been mortified. Right. I would have been mortified if I took you to go see a movie and then there was like boobs in it.
You took me to see 3D boobs. I am. That's gonna get clipped.
No.
No.
I took you to see Titanic in 3D. Like,
yes,
such a bad parent. But I'm telling you, I don't remember the boobs. It's just me. So maybe I'm getting old and forgetting. Maybe Kate Winslet's tits weren't that memorable to me. Have you ever thought of that? So I'm sure they would be memorable to you. You're like, whoa, boobs. But that, I'm not a teenage boy.
I wasn't even a teenager at the time.
That's what I remember. I'm like, you were young. That's why I would remember the mortifying feeling of being like the one adult sitting with two of you when boobs went on screen.
You were just too engrossed in the movie, I guess.
I'd seen the movie a bunch of times by then. This was the re-release.
But it was in 3D, so it's far more
correct.
engrossing.
That's why, yeah.
No. Okay. What were we talking about before we got into...
Before Kate Winslet's boobs? I don't even remember.
Neither do I.
Oh, I'm going to miss you.
Yes.
Glad you'll be back on the weekend. And have these kind of enlightening discussions.
Yes, Diamonds and Pearls. Then click images, the image from the scene. That's what I tried showing her, and she was like, "Oh no, that's
well,
Photoshop."
she can't. You can't show it here, is what I'm saying.
I know I can't show it here. That's why I didn't show it to the camera.
Yeah, you definitely can't show the boobies on YouTube. Although there's a guy that was trolling to prove that AI is running the Twitter sphere for YouTube, and his channel's name's like porn something, and like the lead picture. So it's like he just puts like bootleg porn over there, and he's like, I got locked out of my account. Can you help me? And the AI bot over on Twitter is like happily helping him. Crafton posted it because the guy was just trolling to prove that there's no humans that run YouTube anymore.
Yeah, no, a lot of jobs like that are just going to AI because it's cheaper.
Yeah, herbal essences. Well, that's what I'm saying. It is that moment for a parent, and I'm just saying I don't remember it. I don't remember boobs in Titanic. That doesn't mean
you hear that, Krama people.
Oh, shut up, man. They're too busy driving to our town and trying to plot on you and get me arrested.
Oh,
yeah.
What are they gonna do? Call DYFUS?
It's a bit
too late.
They call it CPS here because it's more, but they no, so they have, and people like talked about it. There's a creator that talked about it, and people in her chat had to tell her he's an adult.
Yeah, no, I'm 19 now. No,
that's what I thought. Well, that's what I mean. So it's like, but it says there you can show a boob. It just says a boob. So maybe, I don't know if they showed both their boobs. That's where I'm like, yeah. But this is all about the rating system for theatrical release too. So that's why I'm saying it could very well be something that in streaming server, it's not the same way there, or on DVD release where you can have multiple outtakes, things like that.
All right.
Listen, you've been on here for forever. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Be sure to hit that subscribe if you're not already subscribed.
Comes the ShamWow salesman, my son.
Yeah. No, actually one thing. Huh. You know how you guys are always like, you guys need to like, you need to subscribe, you need to share. You tell people to do all those three things. You know what they're going to do? None of them. Statistically speaking, none of them.
We don't usually say that anyway.
Yeah, no. If you tell people to just do like one thing, then they're going to do it. And this like
you can't order people around anyway.
Well, yeah, you can't order people around.
And you shouldn't be like, "Hey,
no,
subscribe," because there's a
lot
of like the bigger channels. They do this as part of their opening spiel, and it's like, can I watch your content before I like and subscribe? Thanks.
Yeah, no, just like how I follow like Game Theory.
No.
Well, Game Theory is a YouTube channel. The guy who runs it used to work at a YouTube like corporation essentially. That helps like other creators. Yeah, no, I had somebody come to fill a citizen's complaint out hoping to get me arrested. She's still lying, trying to say that it went anywhere. Yeah, so essentially the guy who runs the channel used to work as like a basically as a consultant. Mm-hmm. And he looked at like a bunch of the data about like what people do when you tell them to like, share, subscribe, as compared to like only subscribing and all that. Right. And the data basically showed like if you just tell people to subscribe, they're going to subscribe. But if you tell people to do more things than that, then they're most likely not going to do it unless they really like your stuff. Right. So, I mean, for future reference, don't tell people to like. Just tell them to subscribe, and then you're good. Are you at school on the birthday? I was like, so on your birthday this year? No, not my birthday. On MJ's. Well, no, so you're going to be busy on MJ's birthday. We could always do a pre-recorded thing before then. I mean, maybe we'll talk about it. I don't know. I might release like a Michael Jackson cover or something. I've got a cover of maybe tomorrow, like in the system. He doesn't even understand. Be good.
When I tell, he's just like, eh. But he knows a lot about the troll game too. That's why when all the shit came out, and it's like they're talking about how they're gonna, troll Aidan or anything like that. I'm like, you're not gonna get anything over on my kid.
You're not gonna.
You won't get very far with my son. He knows our kids these days, like especially around Aidan's age, they know more about like trolling shit than we do.
Yeah, no. See, I'm on Reddit. I know all about the trolling now.
Yeah, no, I try on Reddit.
No, look, honestly, I don't regret going on Reddit. Mainly
for Five Nights at Freddy's, you go on.
Hey, also for Michael Jackson and David Bowie.
Yeah.
Also The Weeknd.
What kind of stuff are they doing on Reddit over Bowie?
I mean, a lot of it is just like talking about like cool shit. Like, although
so it's more chat roomy style.
Not chat roomy. No, it's more just like, hey, look, I found this cool little like Bowie thing, and it's like, oh wow. And like that's usually what that is. But I follow this one like Beatles subreddit, but the whole thing is like a joke.
Yeah.
So they're saying things like, "Oh yeah, Ringo's the best Beatle."
Nobody ever says Ringo's the best Beatle.
No one does. No. But like it's one of the jokes. And then,
my dad does think that George is the best Beatle, but that's because he's a bass player.
What? George is not the bass player. Paul is the bass player.
No, but my dad, being a bass player, he like doesn't actually like Paul McCartnney.
Oh.
So he would never say Paul McCartney because he doesn't think he's a very good bass player. Do with that what you guys want to.
Okay. But has this man heard Silly Love Songs? The bass line on that goes wild. Ooh.
You can show your butt on Prime. Yeah, there you go. Have you heard of Kick, Aidan?
Yeah, no, you showed me Kick already.
Okay. Because I was like, you should get on Kick. The more I've watched over there, the more it's people your age that sit there with just random shit playing behind them and give their opinion, and I think you could do that for all day long.
Yeah. Okay, wait, here it is. Oh, I forgot that's
like if you're picking a platform that you might want to start to build up. I mean, I know you're set on Patreon, but sometimes you have to go to another platform in order to build up people that are even aware of your Patreon existing. Like that might be a place for you to check out better than YouTube anyway. You're not even listening to me. Now I feel like I'm doing a show with
I'm sorry. I just they don't even call Ringo. They call him Rigno.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right, Aidan. Well, we have
all right.
a long ass time. So if you
wait. What's our intake?
Honey, you don't announce that shit on the air. You're fine. You'll be going back to school with some money.
I want to thank you guys so much.
People have tipped you. People have taken mercy on your wit.
Yeah. I'm a real witter, you know.
Mm-hmm. I got it. Okay. I know you're looking at me right now to see if I got it. I got it.
But thank you guys for listening, both to the Michael Jackson thing, because not a lot of people like to listen about that, as well as just our general ramblings. It's been a lot of fun. Especially thank you to those of you who tipped.
Hold on. So thank you to let me see. Thank you to Mod Squad and Michelle and Sabrina and Vanessa. You guys are awesome. Let me make sure that I didn't miss anybody. I didn't. That was sweet of everybody. We appreciate you. Let me put a documentary that Aidan is talking about that kind of inspired him to want to talk about this into chat, and then I will add it over to the description as well, so that way if you don't cut and paste it this time, but you think of it at some later date, because this is one that'll probably stay up. I won't need to take it down with anything. Square one. Okay, so the documentary on NJ.
You know, I have an idea for another stream you can do. You know Scott Peterson?
Yes.
I've changed my mind.
You think he's guilty now? Mm-hmm. What changed your mind?
Oh,
peer pressure. Because he's another one. You will not find people that think he's innocent hardly ever.
Yeah, I mean, there's a strong community around that, but no,
there is now. There didn't used to be.
Here's the thing, though. Now I think like decent chance he's guilty. But we can get into that on another
You
stream.
want to debate me?
Yes, I do.
Of course you do.
Nah, see, I like conflict. And now that I have
Aidan, I live in conflict every day. I have to come on here. So
yeah, but
that's why
this can be fun.
I'm not
conflict.
into it on
No, but
Square One. It's called, right?
Yeah.
Square One.
No, but this could be like fun conflict. It doesn't have to be like arguing about time travel ball pits. Kind of frustrating. Which I don't want to get into time traveling ball pits again.
So random. I forget who walked in right as you were talking about that, but I'm like, he's talking about Five Nights at Freddy's Reddit.
Yeah, no. Time travel ball pits and whether or not soul goo can heal people's appendages while still keeping them in a coma, as well as just okay. Can you guys settle a debate for me? Right, this is an arm.
Oh my gosh, the horse is so cute. Voices, you guys, if you didn't know, the horse had the baby, and oh my god, the coloring is so adorable, like that like saddle brown color that's on with the white. Such a cutie.
Hold on. Chat, can you help me settle a debate? All right. This is an arm, right?
So
now let's say here forward. Let's say this part onward, gone.
Right.
Is it still an arm?
Yes. It would be your if you lost your forearm, well, that's still your upper arm remaining.
I don't know. For me, this is a stump.
Oh my god!
Like if someone were to describe me,
if someone were to describe me, offensive to those who have amputations, that you're calling it a stump because it's still their arm. They're just missing their forearm.
Okay, I've been talking about this in reference to a man rotting in a bunny.
OMG! No, that's where I draw the line. You're not bringing that weird shit onto my channel.
I'm sorry.
What is this from? This is from the Five Nights at Freddy thing?
Yes.
Who the fuck cares? You guys sit there and argue in a Reddit about this shit? Oh my god, you're bored. You're so not on YouTube. You'd get all the conflict you need here on YouTube. You wouldn't have to go to a subreddit to argue about if it's an arm or a stump because of Five Nights at Freddy's. That's the weirdest thing I've heard.
I'm sorry. If someone has half an arm and then a full arm, would you describe someone as having two arms, or would you say like, oh yeah, they've got one arm and then like half an arm?
Oh my god, this is so offensive. If I have any amputees listening, I apologize.
I'm not trying to be
apologize for my son.
Hold on. Let me check chat. Let me make sure I'm not actually doing it.
It's just so weird that that's what you guys sit and talk about.
No, because like we're at a point where like the main creator of the game,
or if anybody does anybody here have friends or people in their family that have an amputation of one arm that isn't the whole arm? Does anybody have an answer to this question? So that he can get his ass off of Reddit arguing about weird shit like this.
Look, I'm going to keep being on Reddit about that. I'm sorry. I have to burn those stitch liners to the ground.
Lord help me. Oh my god. You're such a Crafton in training. See, you're going to end up being as old as Crafton and still having this affinity for like trolling arguments.
No, it's not trolling. These are legitimate arguments we are having.
Yeah, like Crafton, who seeks out these legitimate arguments that are really just kind of trolly in general.
I can't help it that solving the actual mysteries of Five Nights at Freddy's means you have to talk about whether like half an arm still constitutes calling it an arm, and if time traveling ball pits can distort memories to the point where the number of kids that are unalived is wrong.
Well, at least you used unalived. It's the first time you haven't used the other one. You're so not prepared for YouTube.
Usually with Five Nights at Freddy's YouTube, it's something where they just say the word anyways, because like...
Yeah, because you guys are gross. It's called a residual limb. That is the PC way of saying it.
Okay.
So there's your fucking answer, by the way. So it's called a residual limb. It's not called a stump. That's offensive. Which is what I thought. My gut told me, I'm like, I'm offended you said that. So I'm like, let me just look it up. And it's like, no, amputees prefer it be called a residual limb. So no, they would say they have one arm and a residual limb.
All right. Well, the books describe William Afton as having two arms and two legs. Problem is, he only has one full arm, and then he has residual limbs for his other arm and his two legs. But the books describe William as having two arms, and 2 legs, insinuating they are complete arms and legs.
God, you are just the king of bringing up weird shit. I'm like,
I'm
I
sorry,
don't have something to scroll for people to educate themselves on this one. I wasn't ready for all this. I already had to do all my hotlines and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, FNAF is very unnerving. Like, when I first learned about the actual like story of the games, I was really scared. But then you just kind of get used to it, which is a weird thing to say. But once you get into arguments about like, hey, does Remnant heal people? And then you're talking about like, oh, well, there's this one character that dies, but then possesses his own corpse. Once you get into those debates, it's like you kind of lose track of the fact that like the center of the series is just like this tragic thing.
Oh, son.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Can we get?
Yes, I'm gonna start music here soon, so you can say goodbye to people. Here's the there you go for the replayers.
Oh, God.
There you go. My son's fascinations have led me to feel the need to put the amputeecoalition.org thing up there if people want to educate themselves. But please don't go to Reddit to educate yourselves about correct words.
Appendage.
Residual limbs. Yeah.
Anyway, do you want to see the Five Nights at Freddy's movie with me though? Because
Matthew Lillard. that was your pitch for it.
No.
Holy shit!
Matthew Lillard is in it.
Oh my god!
Matthew Lillard is in it.
Hey, Cranky.
And we all love him from Scream.
Hey, Cranky. We're almost done. If you guys are interested though, and you missed the Michael Jackson conversation, that was at the beginning. That was fun, and you, as I knew, would have all the 411.
Yep,
So
and then it went into Kate.
Well, then we got to the part where it's like, this was the agreement, though. You got to pick the topics, and I guess maybe I should have made you submit them to me first.
Yeah, no, you should have limited me.
You could tell the ones that we coordinated on to make sure we did the appropriate research, and the ones
and then
that
there
he
are the
went
time
off on his
travel ball
own.
pits.
And then there's residual limbs and Kate Winslet's tits. Okay, neat. This has been just great. Oh, I love you. I'm going to miss you. He'll be back on the weekends. And then aren't you back for a few weeks before it starts again?
Yeah, I'm back
before you go for the full fall. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And then
anyway.
I don't know. So Crafton said, you guys, he's not sure that he's going to come on after work tonight because he did a show last night and then slept. He got up to do my show earlier. So he's not sure he's going to, if he comes on tonight, he said he'd probably just do like low key playing music or whatever. So, I'm assuming he'll still do that on his main channel. I don't know. So I know most people here are subscribed to Crafton's channel. He may or may not be on.
Wait a minute. Oh man, the FNAF movie got delayed till December.
Yeah, that's what Tam just said too.
Yeah, they had to change the eye colors of the animatronics.
Why?
In the movie, they
do I want to ask why?
No, in the movies, the eyes didn't glow at all. Well, no, in the games, the eyes don't glow.
Okay.
They're just sort of black voids.
Yeah.
But in the movie, they glow, and when people saw the trailer, they were like, "The trailer looks good. It's just the animatronics' eyes shouldn't glow. It's less scary."
Right.
So they listened to the fans and were like, "Okay, let's just change the eyes real quick."
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna take a little bit to get that done because people really underestimate like how long visual effects actually take.
Yeah.
Like there are these people on YouTube that do like these little Lego animations.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd think that it's easy to do because, with Legos, they can only really move so much.
Mm-hmm.
But because, any kind of movement still has intricacy to it,
right?
It can take someone like half a year to get like 30 seconds of footage.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you guys soon.
I promise no more time traveling ball pits.
Wish Aidan well as he goes off to his summer job. He'll be gone from home now for 6 weeks, Monday through Friday.
And wish me well as I cook chicken in like 10 minutes.
You better wrap it this time and not just throw it. Like literally, I still bleached out the garbage can and it's like still sitting outside. I just today I'm like, I think the smell's gone, so just remember you have to wrap.
I'm a
wrap
Ziploc it. I'm a Ziploc it. Plus the chicken is smaller, so it should be. I think the reason why I didn't go for a Ziploc last time was just because it was too big for them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
I'm sure I'll see you around. We're going to play out on a couple songs. Bye, best friends.